And now you're going to be mayor.
I'm never going to be mayor.
Isn't mayor pro tem?
No, mayor pro tem is like fake mayor. Third and final year. And you know what that means?
That means you can say and do anything.
Exactly. This is real, Tara.
He punched you in the face?
Yes. Threw me on the floor. Not hard, by the way. So last October 9th, I had half of my right lung taken out, my lower lobe.
You wouldn't have gotten that CT scan that found the lung cancer. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that was divine or like some sort of like it was meant to be? Or
Yes. Why can't we get rid of things that don't work in city government?
I don't know.
Can you tell me that?
Look, you're the one that works in city government. I don't.
We try it. It didn't work. We don't. That's what you do in business. You want to try something new. If it doesn't work, then don't do it. Oh, can I just say something to the audience? Whatever you heard today, I was joking.
Welcome to the House Einstein podcast. This is House Einstein podcast number 123. And it's an unusual House Einstein podcast. I'm your host, Osman Parvez, and with me is Tara Weiner, Mayor Pro Tem for the city of Boulder. And this is one of our special edition guest podcasts where we've thrown away our usual agenda and we're here to talk about, anything and everything that relates to our lovely guest today. So welcome to the House Einstein podcast. It's sponsored by the House Einstein Brokerage. If we happen to talk about anything real estate related, please don't make any decisions based on what you hear. That's on the advice of our attorneys. This podcast is entertainment. And with that, let's get started.
Well, can I also say that anything you hear me say, I'm going to deny. Except it's on tape, so I can't.
You're denying to me, to my face, or to later?
To the audience. If somebody says, I can't believe you said that, I'm just going to say, I didn't say that.
Right. You could just claim it was AI.
100%. All right, let's do it.
Well, that's how we got started. That's how we ended up here, actually, is I was watching your I would say interview, your meeting with staff, and they were talking about the study session. Thank you. And you were asking questions, and you asked them, can we be responsible with our finances? And I found myself shouting at the TV, no, we can't be. That's clearly where we are.
Okay, but how do you know that I didn't mean it sarcastically, knowing we can't seem to be responsible?
It seemed like a very sweet question.
You don't know me then, that's all.
That's true. Maybe you asked sarcastic questions.
I am sarcastic.
Well, okay, so let's...
But I want to say about that is, and this is what I told you on the phone, then you asked me to be on the podcast. I'm in business. I've been in business for 40 years, let's say, because I'm old. So I'm revealing my age now, because obviously I didn't start at 10. And I'm a distributor, so I'm a middle person, and I have suppliers. So if I want something done, I don't do it myself. I have the suppliers actually send the thing. Let's say I sell swag, so a pen has to be imprinted. I don't have the pen sitting in my room. I have a supplier that has the pens and they print them. So if they do something bad, like they make a mistake or they missed a ship date, I have two options. I could scream at them, which then they'll hate me and they won't help me ever again. Or I can nicely say, how can we solve this problem together, supplier? And I've found in 40 years that B is the right way to go because A, people don't really want to work with you. So I found when it's with the city staff, they do the work. City council doesn't do anything except sit around, read packets, and then give their opinions. What do? I mean, I do a lot because I ride my bike on the underpasses and make sure that they're safe. But besides that, what do we do?
I mean, that's a very valid point. But let's start at the beginning, right? Because you said something very interesting. You said that you've been in business 40 years, and I think I heard you say you're starting at age 10.
Yeah, I started at age 10. So I'm only I want
to hear about your, let's start at the beginning of the Tara story. Like, where were you born? What did your parents do? Okay,
that's a great question. Yeah. So I was born in Brooklyn, but not the nice part. So everybody listening, I'm going to just put my accent on for a second. I'm from Canarsie, which we say Canarsie now, but it is Canarsie, which is right off the Bell Parkway, and I'm putting my accent on purpose, right near the plaza, right near the mall, and it was not awesome. So my background is we had row homes all attached up and down, and across the street was this lot, and by lot I mean garbaged up, and that's where we used to play.
Wow.
Yeah, and so...
Wait, set the time period. Are we talking about the 70s, 60s?
I was born in 58.
Okay. So we're growing up in the 60s.
Yeah, I was in the 60s, yes. And then they decided to build a park on my corner, and they built it out of concrete because people steal stuff. They didn't even give us a blade of grass, not even a tree, just concrete. So we had this big wall, and all the kids played paddleball on the wall with this wooden paddle, which was before racquetball, which is how I became a really good racquetball player.
Are you a pickleball player as well?
No, I can't. I have issues now.
I have issues with pickleball too.
No, I love pickleball.
It's loud.
No, it is loud, but I mean, I have physical.
Oh, you have physical issues.
Else I'd
with
be
it.
playing pickleball every day. Okay, let's move on.
So do you have siblings?
So then, no, wait.
You're
my
only
parents,
child. Okay.
no, I have a sister. My parents manufactured toy-filled Christmas stockings.
Your parents, like you could pre-buy a Christmas
No,
stocking.
no. Here's what it's 8 feet. They're 8 feet. So my dad did not go to college. He wanted to start his own business. And so there were things called closeouts in the toy business. So we would buy the closeouts, and his friend said, why don't you get some red net, empty red net, and put toys in it and make Christmas stockings. So that's what he did, and he built into a really big business.
Okay, so lazy parents that didn't want to make their own stockings would just buy the completely pre-stuffed.
It's 8 foot tall.
Oh, it's like a novelty 8 foot tall
It's like
Christmas stocking.
You would go to the
got
7-Eleven
it.
back
Okay.
in the day, and it would say, come in and fill out this raffle and win the world's largest Christmas stocking. So that's what it was.
Wow.
And we used to work in the factory, my sister and I, back in the day, too.
Okay. Wow. That's a very interesting and very creative business that your father had. And your mom was stay-at-home mom?
No, she was a teacher, and she worked in the business. But my mom was, how do you say it, bossy. And my dad was really nice. So without my mom, the business would have been as good. So let's say somebody came, this might or might not have happened, from an organization that forces you to pay them just to pick up garbage. This might or might not have happened. My mom would give them a what for, and she was only 5 feet tall.
Wow. She would stand up to we're not talking about the mob here.
Correct.
For some reason, we're not saying that.
No.
But she would stand up to them, and
Yes, she would.
they would just back away after that. So it's a tough lady.
She was tough.
Okay. So you grew up with these people as your parents. Mm-hmm. And your older or younger sister?
My younger sister used to beat me up. But this is all boring. Let's move on.
This isn't boring. This is fascinating. This is the point of the podcast, is to know who you are, and where you're coming from, and how did you get to Boulder after, like, what's your journey? What did you study in school?
The journey. So then I went to university. I hated living in New York. And no offense to Long Island, but every time I went to see my relatives, I couldn't bear it. It was too myopic, and everybody was, I don't know, it felt like a bubble, but not a good one.
So you left for college?
My high school was crazy. Like, you could take teenage problems instead of English. It was the 60s and the 70s, and the New York City school system.
You could take teenage problems.
Not kidding. I did.
Instead of English.
Yeah. I did not have any problems, but I took teenage problems to get out of English. The problem is when you get out of English, it doesn't end well.
This is a class called Teenage Problems? Mm-hmm. What year is this in high school? We're talking about like the early 70s?
Oh, gosh. I don't even know. You count it. You're better at math than I am, I think.
Well, so my family's journey in New York City starts in the early 70s, and they were out of there by 1977 and moved to upstate New York. And
New
York
had to be the 70s.
It was a lot of crime like at that time period.
Yeah,
right?
crime. We had crime. I would walk down the street. We would walk to school when I was a kid, and I would carry my saxophone, become a saxophone player. And I would always look at the shadows to see if anybody's walking behind me as a kid, like I was 10. But that's how we grew up. It seemed normal.
Situational awareness and street smart.
That's right.
Literals.
I lost it during that incident, by the way, on the hill. Something happened to me. I lost my creds.
You're cool.
No, I lost my Philly because then what happened was I went to the University of Wisconsin.
Okay.
And I majored in economics. You might say, wow, that's so impressive. But I say we did not have to write a paper with that major. And since I couldn't write, I just said, I'll do that.
Wait, you couldn't?
I couldn't write.
We
didn't have AI.
Okay.
I didn't have to take English in high school. And usually in high school, when you don't have to do something,
okay.
you usually
So you
don't.
didn't take English because you're not a good writer, and you went to
perpetuated.
economics because you didn't have to write a paper.
I mean, ultimately, I was really interested in economics. Economics is really interesting.
We're talking about macroeconomics, right?
All economics.
Okay.
The problem with economics is they give you this big theory, and then they say, but it isn't really true. It doesn't really work. So why am I memorizing theories that don't work, I would say to myself. So I kind of lost interest, and played racquetball instead. So there's that. But
But you finished with an economics degree,
yeah,
like a bachelor's in economics.
Absolutely.
And,
Bachelor's of Science in Economics.
okay, yep. And then what?
Also, by the way, viewers, New Yorkers are very self-deprecating. That's our humor. So I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
Because some people complain I'm too self-deprecating, but that's what we grew up with, to cope.
I don't know if it's everybody in New York that's
I like to exaggerate, though.
That might be in New York. Talking fast is in New
Talking
York.
fast, exaggerating, self-deprecating humor, that type thing.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Where are we?
So we're talking
University
about
of Wisconsin.
and how was that for you when you
I
were
loved
at the
it.
going from New
Great
York City
school.
to, was it Madison?
It was Madison. I got rid of my accent. My Brooklyn accent was very severe. I got rid of it. I had a great time. I loved the people, great people. I made friends with mostly Wisconsin people.
Okay.
Great people.
How do you get practicing in the mirror?
Yeah, how to practice R, because we always said we dropped the ah. And then it was a lot of work to say R.
Huh.
And I could do it now. But I still hold on to things like orange and coffee. I hold on.
I hear
You
it.
don't want to lose all your...
Right, your roots.
Yeah, your roots have to still be there.
All right, so you studied economics in Wisconsin.
I did love economics.
And you finished your bachelor's.
I kid you, but I did love economics.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hope so after 4 years in that field.
Yeah, but I didn't get my master's or anything. I found out I was best at talking, So I went into sales. How do you like that?
Surprise.
Yeah. So
What kind of sales?
I will tell you, but what happened was I moved to Philadelphia because it was close to my parents, but not in the same city. You know?
Sure.
Even though I loved them. They're passed away now. And I didn't know what to do. So just to understand the field of the Christmas, we're getting back to Christmas stockings. They were a supplier in a network called Promotional Products or Advertising Specialties. And they said, Tara, you can't seem to focus on just one thing, with my ADHD, et cetera. They said, if you become a distributor, then you sell all different things all the time. It's never the same. No day's ever the same. And it's true. So it's like portfolios and bugs, Yeti, this, that, you name it.
Custom branded products.
That's right. Custom branded products. Thanks. And so I did that starting from the age of like 23 or 24.
And you did that for decades. Then.
Yeah, I don't like change.
So you stayed in that field and you built a business?
I was in that field before the fax machine existed. We literally wrote orders up with our pen and we put it in an envelope and we sent it in the mail.
Were you cold calling business
owners? Oh, yeah, I cold called. I cried every day from cold calling, the rain, the snow.
You've been hung up on thousands of times.
No, cold calling in person.
Oh, you would knock on the door and say hi.
Yeah, that's what they made you do back in the day.
Show like a briefcase of pens and cups.
And because I'm a disorganized person at my root, I would open up the briefcase and stuff would all fall out on the floor. So it wasn't awesome. But when you're 24, who are you even? You're just a kid. You have to grow and learn. You make mistakes. That's how you learn.
But you learn a lot about humans too, I bet. Cold calling and working with business owners and trying to develop a book of business.
Yeah. And after, it takes 5 years to even learn. I became an expert in hospital systems. It just worked out that way.
Okay, so you niched.
I niched to hospital systems. That's right. And that became something I loved to do for a long time because I love people and I love to hear their stories. They have to be short stories because I have a short attention span, remind you. And I love helping people, but I really love solving problems. And in the world of promotional products, there's all these problems. Is the factory getting printed on time? Do they even have the order? Did they lose the... Is UPS going to deliver? If you're doing something overseas, what if there's a dock strike?
I was just about to ask you, when did the transition happen from domestic manufacturing and to overseas
That's a great question.
And did you have to do a bunch of flights to Asia and make relationships in Asia with
That's a great question, and yes. So
what was that? Walk us through that. What was that?
I have a bad memory for when things happen, but there was a point when this had to have been around 9/11. This is a true story. And we sell lapel pins. Now, you might say, who buys lapel pins? Believe it or not, people do buy little lapel pins.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like the ones our politicians wear.
That's right. And I had to become an expert in the manufacturing of lapel pins because if somebody asks me about something, I really just don't like to look stupid or not know the answer. I always say I don't know, but then I like to learn what it is.
Okay.
Because if your client wants to know about lapel pins, then learn about it.
Right.
Okay, and there's a lot of ways to manufacture lapel pins.
Really?
You can screen print it. You can do an epoxy dome. You can do die striking, die casting. I'm a literal expert in lapel pins. So what happened was I went up to Providence, Rhode Island, where a lot of the lapel pins were made when I first started, and watched the manufacturing process so I could really understand it, which is what I like to do for city council. Just segueing for a second, is I started out not knowing nothing about land use and zoning, zero zip nada. 80% of the job is land use and zoning.
It seems that way.
Okay, so I had a learning curve that I just wanted to cry. I got on city council, I won, and I was like, yay. And then I had this learning curve that was crazy. And you know I don't like change.
Right. But you signed up for it.
I did, and I wound up loving it.
Okay, hold on. We're jumping way ahead to city council.
I'm a jumper.
And I want to come back to lapel pins.
Lapel pins. Here's what happened. During 9/11, everybody wanted American flag lapel pins, all my clients. So I got some samples from the Providence, Rhode Island people, factories, and they were like, they didn't look that great. Then I got samples from China. They were so much better. The manufacturing was so much better. It was just high quality. So I had to decide, am I going to sell American flag lapel pins from China or from the U.S.? That was a big thing. And so...
Did it feel like a hypocrisy to sell American flags that were made in China?
Well, at that time, I care about quality. So I just wanted the highest quality stuff, I'll be honest. So I did what I had to do to be known as a high quality... Like, I don't like to sell... What's the word people use for...
Junk,
whatever people use for low-quality swag. So anyway, sorry, everybody, but I usually did choose China at that time, but more and more manufacturing was going there anyway.
I mean, that's the realistic answer.
Yeah,
right?
and so, you can't turn back time,
I mean, there's now seems to be a swing back to manufacturing. Are you still selling swag?
Yes, but now what happened was I couldn't do 2 jobs. I actually have 3 jobs because I babysit like my grandchildren, pick them up from the JCC like 3 times. It's a thing. So I gave the business to my daughter who tutored under me in the details of promos, which took her 5 years. It took 5 years for her to become an expert. Don't laugh. It's true, but it takes that long. I'm 5 years on city council.
I agree. It takes 5 years to really know what you're doing.
So
Yeah.
I'm 5 years on city council. I finally know what I'm doing. I mean, maybe last year I knew also what I was doing, but for 2 years I didn't even want to talk. I was embarrassed to even say anything.
You were just sitting tight, learning.
I didn't even know how to say yes when we voted. I'm like people would say so moved. I'm like, what even is that? I mean, I don't think I watched the city council meeting before I got elected.
Oh my God.
True. Somebody said you should do that. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
It's true.
Wow.
I was in a city council meeting, but I didn't watch it. I had to go because I have a sister city, and I don't want to talk about that right now.
Okay, we're not going to that.
Right.
We're not talking about sister cities.
Exactly.
But I do want to go, before we jump back to council, because I do want to get to council. We're going to get there, I promise you. But I really want to hear the full story. So you mentioned you have a daughter.
Okay, I have 3 daughters.
Okay.
I have
And
3
you have a
sons-in-law,
husband.
and I have a husband, and I have 5 grandchildren.
You have 5
The
grandchildren.
the middle daughter has her master at an MPA. I decided, my husband and I decided.
What is that?
Masters of Public Administration.
okay, got
what
it.
happened is, when I had kids, I said, they can't be as uneducated as I was. I will not. So my husband and I sent our 3 daughters to like a prep school in Philly called Baldwin School. It was an all-girls school. So they had to really focus because it was all girls.
And you met your husband in Philly? Or
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it? Okay. Mhm.
And so they did really well. Yay
Okay.
them. I always, every time I took one of them with me to work, they hated the entire atmosphere.
The whole atmosphere of
They
swag
they
selling.
hated it. Because, you do say to yourself, like every 2 weeks, is this really my life? Why am I doing this? I'm helping no one.
Wow. Why did you feel that?
Because what are you really doing? Really?
I mean, people like swag. They like to have branded products.
Okay, if you care about the environment, here's a good example. Let's say stress balls, for instance, all made in China. They have to dye the material, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, you make the stress. What happens is China produces the stress balls that you see, and they ship it to factories here. The factories here print it, unless you're talking about large quantities.
Sure.
Let's say you make a mistake with the logo, or the factory makes a mistake. or the
There's
customer
so much
maintenance
waste.
team. There you go, 1,000 stress balls in the garbage.
And the environmental pollution that
That's right.
we've offshored to China in the manufacturing process.
But
I hear you.
people still won't give up swag, so there's that.
I hear you. So I had my own hypocrisy.
We all do.
And
but
then
it was
you
a
learn
good
from
business.
it.
Yeah, but it was a good business, and I would do the whole thing again because it gave me the opportunity to grow my kids up. So what happened was and I'm a distributor, so I was on commission all the time. I never had a salary. And so eventually when you build up your book, you know how it is. It's good, but at the beginning it's really hard. So they gave me a starting salary of $150 a week plus 10% commission. I thought that was fantastic.
I mean, depending on the year, that might have been great.
But I had to have a lot of roommates to survive.
I bet.
Let's just say.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So my daughter got her MPA, and then she got her dream job. And I'm doing quotation marks for the listeners, which, when you're young, you think your dream job is X, and then you have it, and you're like, I hate this job. That often happens. So she had a job with the university, not CU Boulder, nobody guess. And she had two managers who were telling her what to do all the time, micromanaging her. And then she sees her parents, they work for themselves, and she's like, that seems so much better than what I'm doing right now. Because she was having she's a people pleaser, and she was having a meltdown. She actually had panic attacks and then a complete breakdown. So she quit.
And this is the daughter that's taken on your...
Yeah, this was when she was in her 20s, though. I mean, it's a long time ago.
How old is she now?
Mid-30s.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to guess the daughter, everybody that knows me. But anyway.
You don't want anybody to guess the
which daughter? They're like, which daughter is it? Because a lot of people know me and my daughters.
Sure.
Anyway, so I said, listen, daughter, why don't you just learn my business and take it over? I mean, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. 40 years is a long time to do the same thing.
For sure.
So she said, fine. And she wound up loving the field. And the fact that she has an MPA, she says, what a waste that I got my MPA. And I said, not a waste. You write the best emails of anybody I know. Your emails are awesome. And she thinks really well, and she's so much more successful than I ever was.
That's great. That must feel good.
Well, I'm happy for her. But it's also a stressful business because you have eventage. Do you know that business is more stressful than city council?
Really?
Uh-huh.
So you're no longer in the business. You've gone full-time.
No. Now I work for her. I am in the business.
Oh, you are still in the business.
I have 2 rush orders sitting on my desk that I couldn't do because I got too many calls about the upcoming meeting about the Boulder Valley Comp Plan. And so I just go, it's a good thing I have ADHD because I just go back and forth from promos all day. Promo, city council all day. Meeting, changing.
I mean, it must keep your brain active to bounce from one to the other.
But I thank Wordle for that.
I've never played.
Oh my gosh.
My wife loves it. And I'm like, what is
Come
this
on.
game? Have you played Wordle? No.
It's word games are where it's happening. Okay, what else?
All right. Okay, so I think we've got your childhood story all the way through your professional career. We haven't talked about how you met your husband, but you have 3 daughters, and one of them has joined you in the business.
The other one and her husband have a health tech startup, and the other one is a senior software engineer.
Yeah, very successful family.
They are.
It must be great. It must feel great.
Yeah.
And then how did you end up what brought you to Boulder?
My sister, that's a great question. My sister lived in Boulder for decades. She had Music with Madeline for everyone, though, and she taught music to kids. We're all a musical family. My kids have CDs. I play 3 instruments. We're just a musical family.
Your kids have they're musicians that have released CDs?
Yeah, but when they were kids.
Oh.
Then, of course, I paid for it. You're welcome, kids. Anyway.
They didn't get a record
deal.
They weren't kids. They got a mom record deal.
Mom
Got it.
Record. I was sort of a helicopter mom, but not really.
Okay.
Kind of.
What does that mean?
Well, I worked. So I didn't go to any of if you're going to be on a team, I can't go to that game. I just can't do it.
You can't. Okay, so
would
they say they were neglected, or would they
never.
say that you were a helicopter mom?
No, neither. It was kind of a mixture.
Have they resented that you didn't go to the games?
No, they we had one kid that tried to play softball, and she would just stand in the outfield staring into space. That was the software engineer. It just, you have to find what your kids are good at and just go with that, I say. I'm not going to force my kids to be on team. The other one was on a basketball team, the middle one. She was great at basketball. She was the queen of, what's that game that you play and you just go in and you do shoots and then somebody runs up? What is it, horse? No, not horse.
Horse is a childhood's basketball game where you spell the letters.
Whatever the case is, she would get those shots from the foul line. No, the jump. What's that line? No. When you do a foul, when somebody fouls you and you have to shoot the basket
Yeah,
from a line.
I know what you're talking about.
That line.
Yeah, I know what you're
whatever
talking
that
about.
line is, she would always get those shots. So she would win all the boys. But she didn't like competition in sports. And then the third one thought she was going to be the oldest, which all old children usually think they're the best at everything, no matter if they're the best or not.
No comment.
Okay. So she was on the basketball team, but she actually looked like she was dancing when she was, no offense, oldest daughter, like she looked like a ballerina on the basket. Like she didn't have that basketball look. So we segued to, music.
Okay, cool.
You got to do it, you got to go with your talents.
When did the last one leave the nest?
32, but they always come back, Osman. They always come back. That's why I have a basement apartment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it a permitted basement?
Yes. Very permanent. Extremely. How we got the house. Okay. So my sister lived in Boulder.
Your sister had lived.
Yeah, and she lived in the Chautauqua, like lower Chautauqua neighborhood.
Got it.
That's my dream neighborhood. I used to come visit her, and I loved it. We all loved it. We come a couple times a year. The kids, the little ones, they were like 8, 6, and 4. We would go hiking with them, and we loved it here. So at one point, I'm like, why Philly? No offense to all the Philadelphians. Why? Why am I even here? Boulder's so much nicer. So I decided to buy a second home. That's right, a second home. And the home next door to my sister opened up for sale. And I hated that house because every wall in that house had rounded corners.
Wait, hold on. The second home you bought was the one.
I didn't buy it yet.
You didn't buy it.
So we come to
But
Boulder.
it was up for sale, and you decided not to buy it.
There was not a lot of homes up for sale. One of them.
What year is this?
2008, during the real estate crisis thing.
Good timing.
Right. Good for us, but bad that we sold the house in Philly.
Yeah.
So first we were going to have 2 houses. So I come here looking. My husband is in Switzerland getting his 6th degree or something like that. Now he's going to be a psychoanalyst, besides being a neurologist, psychiatrist, psychopharmacologist, whatever in the world.
Impressive. How old is he at this point?
He's 72 now, but
he's
retired.
But he was in his 50s getting his psychoanalysis
probably. He
degree?
also has a CFA. What's it?
Yeah, certified financial analyst.
Yeah. He
Wow.
loves to learn. See, we're very different. I like to be in the same field for 40 years, and he loves to be a new doctor every 5 years. So it's good, though. Opposites are good.
That worked out.
Mm-hmm. So where was I?
Stop playing video games over there.
Well, I know you're very successful in Hamish. You look on the young side. So I'm always impressed with young people who are successful. That's my favorite thing. I mean, no, I love all young people. Let me say that again. Even if you're not successful, I love you. But I get excited when I have a part in a young person's life and can help them find their way.
Same. 100%.
Okay.
Feels great.
Where are we?
So the year you moved to Boulder was 2008. You bought a second home, but not
No, we
the
didn't
one.
buy it yet. So what happened was we come to Boulder looking for homes.
Okay.
The first home smelled so bad I thought I was going to... I care about odor. If something smells, I have a very good nose. And I know in that podcast that I listened to just last night, since I wanted to be prepared, you talked about a home smelling. And that was the absolute worst thing. It was. We walked in and out of the house so fast I can't even tell you.
Febreze. Whenever the Febreze plugins are there, I get a headache.
I'm allergic to Febreze and
nasty.
all. I'm
Yeah.
allergic to all perfumes.
Yeah.
So I'll know in a second. So then the next house, there weren't a lot of houses for sale for some reason. I don't know why. We found this great house, but it was a condo with a $700 a month fee. That's a lot.
Yeah, especially in 2008.
Yeah, I was like, no thanks. Yeah. So then the next house that we found, there was a house next door to my sister that was for sale in Lower Chautauqua. It was an interesting house. It was like a side view. Like you have to walk in. You see the garage when you look at it.
Yeah.
Now, for me as a New Yorker, that's great because I feel like less people will come in and steal things. Because they see a garage, it's like a whole thing. Now you have to walk to this. That's how New Yorkers think.
Like they see a garage, they're going to steal stuff because they see the garage? Or
no,
they're less likely?
They're less likely because they have to go to the front door to get in, and the front door's a little further away.
Okay.
And it's a very unimpressive garage, so that's also good. I don't need people to...
Did you buy this house?
I'll tell you. I walk in...
Or are we talking about a house you didn't buy?
No. So every single wall was curved in that house.
Okay.
Every wall. I don't like curves. I like straight lines.
Was it a historic house?
No. It was built in the early 90s.
Huh.
So I was hyperventilating from the curved corners. I really was. My sister comes in. She has an eye for homes. She likes to buy homes, redo them. So she goes, buy this house. I said, I don't like this house. I said, it's all top. The carpeting's top. The walls are top. Everything is top. And I'm just depressed.
Top, the color.
Top, like a grayish tan.
Taupe, top.
Everything was top.
Taupe.
It was,
yeah.
I call it top.
Taupe. It's, I don't know.
Tomato.
Exactly.
So I said to my sister, I hate this house. And it's also dark back there. There was two fireplaces. And it had all the things I don't like, tempered glass, whatever, all the things.
Curved walls,
tempered glass,
dark in the back,
an old-fashioned fireplace. And I'm not good at visualizing the future in a house where she is. And then in the back was this very small den. That's my phone, ignore it. Very small den that had a fireplace that made the whole room dark. And then I said to my sister, it's so dark back there. Then she says, because loves real estate, you could take down the wall, you could do the window, you could remove the fireplace. She said, buy the house. So I called my husband and I said, oh, and then my mom came.
Wait a minute, your husband hadn't seen it?
No.
Okay.
So then my mom wants me to buy the house because it's next door to my sister, and her dream is that we would live next door to each other, because we never lived near each other after we were in our 20s.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So then I called my husband in Switzerland and I say, buy this house for me. I really did. I said, just buy the house for me, okay? My mom wants it. My sister wants it. It's like a family thing. And so he bought the house. But he's savvy and I'm not. Like, I literally never bounced my checkbook in my life when we had checkbooks. So he bought the house.
He's financially savvy.
He is.
Got it.
So we did good. Well, we did well. He bought the house. And now we lived happily. We remodeled the house.
I've had one client in 23 years where it was a couple buying, and they were not both present to shop, and one of them decided, we're buying this house, and it gets super rare that there's that level.
You said something very important on your podcast.
Yeah.
You said a lot of great things, Hamish. Both of you did. But what you said was, you have to decide, if you leave it be, will it be there? Like, how low do you go before you're saying, well, this is the house I really want? Because it had good inner bones. What is it called? Like the inner workings?
Yeah, the bones.
It was the
had
bones.
good
It was very good.
Despite the curved walls, despite the taupe.
Yeah, I had to look beyond it. My sister helped me do that.
Okay, that's good.
So,
you bought the house.
We did, because
as a second home.
Yes,
initially.
It seemed magical that my sister was next door, and we found out my mom had lung cancer. And she was so she was able to come and be back and forth with us until it got really bad, and then she had to move to a place that could help her. So it was really a great thing that happened. She lived next door on the other side years ago. Then she sold that home and she moved to the other side of me, and that's where she lived at the time. And then we combined the backyards and we built a little path, and it was lovely. And then I would walk down the stairs every day for 9 years and say, I hate this house. I did.
Wait, hold on. We skipped from it becoming second home to primary home.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
So at some point you gave up
then
Philly.
we were like, why are we even living in Philly? That's our question. I love Philly because I love the sports teams. I'm a big Eagles fan. The Phillies, they won the World Series. Great days.
How do you feel about Gritty?
Well, I stopped watching sports.
Okay, just checking. I know that's controversial.
I ran out of time.
Okay.
Who's Gritty?
Isn't he like the mascot for the Eagles or something? It's
Gritty's no mascot for the.
Can you look this
Gritty?
up? Can you look this up, Jamie?
What's Gritty?
Like, Gritty.
I never heard
so
of
you
Gritty.
can show photos of Gritty.
I'm pretty
sure,
I've never heard of Gritty.
I'm pretty sure this is a mascot for one of the Philly sports teams.
This podcast is going to be so long, you're going to have to divide it into two podcasts.
It's not going to be that long. We've only been going, I don't know, 20 minutes.
I feel like I'm talking so fast.
You're not.
I feel like I'm talking so fast, nobody's going to have to put this on double speed.
Oh, that could be the case. I mean, people from the Northeast talk fast. I'm trying to talk slower because I talk too fast. But it's totally fine. Don't worry about the time. Yeah.
Where are we? Where's Gritty?
So we're talking,
Gritty is a mascot.
Gritty.
Gritty is not a mascot of the Eagles. I never heard of Gritty.
National Hockey League.
And I don't like hocky.
Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh, the Flyers.
Okay, Philly, but not the Eagles.
I know so much about the Flyers that I went to a game with my brother-in-law, and in the third quarter I said, "Why is everybody leaving? Isn't there a fourth quarter?" No, there's only three things. That's how little I know about hockey.
Okay,
All right.
Hockey games are fun. All right.
You like that? That was pretty good.
Yeah, they're thirds.
Thanks for appreciating my humor.
Third period,
Okay,
I think.
where are we?
Yeah. So where were we? So you made the decision to move to Boulder full time.
Yeah, and it was hard because
What year was
my
that?
youngest was still in high school. And she finally found out they didn't love the girls' school that they were in, and she wanted to go to this magnet school in North Philadelphia. See, I lived in West Philly.
Got it.
And it was really important for me to live in a neighborhood that was all different colors, black, white, Italian, Jewish. We had all the different ethnic groups, and that's how I wanted my kids to grow up. So I never wanted to move what we would call across the line to Lower Merion. And so she went to school in North Philly, which is north of Temple, near Temple University. It was a magnet school, and she loved it. But Lexi, the middle, all right, fine. Everybody knows I have a daughter named Lexi. Fine.
You're a politician. You can't hide this. What are you talking about?
I don't want to embarrass my kids.
They're going to know.
Lexi was transferring to the University of Colorado. That's what happened.
Okay, so Lexi, the middle one, transferred here.
Yes.
But the little one was still in private school or
no, she was now in
a
public school, a magnet school in North Philly.
In North Philly.
Called Central
High. And she was
High.
a freshman.
No, she was
sophomore.
a senior.
Oh, she was a senior, so she was almost done.
That's right.
Got it.
And the oldest one was somewhere else. I don't know. I think San Francisco at the time. Or Boston. Anyway, so the middle one, here's what became the helicopter parents. We didn't want her to go to transfer her third year at a school where she knew nobody. So it could really crush a kid to,
Oh, yeah. It really uproots their whole life.
Yeah, it does.
Sure.
And so she wanted to transfer really badly. So we said, you know what? We'll just go with you. That's what happened.
Okay, so she transferred to Boulder, and you came along.
Yeah, I have a remote business anyway.
Sure.
And
you
my
moved
husband
into the
retired.
home you were maintaining as a second home.
Yeah.
Were you just
I might
summering
have gotten
here?
all the timing wrong, and
that's
maybe
okay.
we bought the house. I don't remember.
We're not going to look up the tax record to
I
see
really
when
just
things
don't
were
remember.
purchased. It's
But
okay.
I think we moved into the house in 2011.
Full time.
Yeah.
Okay, and you sold whatever you had in Philly and
Yeah,
moved
that
here.
took a long time. It wasn't. Yeah.
Oh,
But that's a
sounds
whole
like
nother
you had
story.
a bad agent. Or maybe the bad market.
Well, it was a bad
2011.
market.
Yeah.
Remember, it was a good market here, and it was a bad market there. Remember what you talked about on your top podcast?
I mean, it's not always a good market everywhere, so for sure.
Well, Philly wasn't a good market.
Okay.
And certainly West Philly wasn't a good market. But it was more important for me to bring up our kids in that neighborhood than it was to have a house that was worth a lot.
Was it like a safe neighborhood? Oh, diverse.
Yeah.
It was a diverse neighborhood.
It was safe, yes.
And
It was safe because a lot of the city officials of Philadelphia lived there. That's why I go back to, we do not have a corrupt city. If you want to know about a corrupt city.
Your baseline comparison, your
I have a
benchmark is Philly.
I do have a low baseline.
I don't know that there's corruption in the city of Boulder. For
There
a fact.
isn't.
You say that there's not.
I mean,
But
of all the cities, corruption on the East Coast is like the middle name there.
Sure,
Come
it's
on.
endemic.
Yeah.
I understand that, but
Okay.
but I also, and we're getting into politics a little bit, but I also want to
can.
say that when the dollar numbers get as high as $200 million bond issues,
Yeah, 100%.
and the fees on those bond issues are also in the millions of dollars,
Mm-hmm.
and the consultants are making hundreds of thousands of dollars and flying in here
Mm-hmm.
and having meetings with city staff, there's just a lot of open
Right.
potential for influence peddling.
Yes, but they also do have a lot of rules, so many rules that I can't even accept.
How are they audited? How are they enforced?
That's a great question. Don't ask me those. What do I know? I just sell promos. No,
You're
I'm
the
just
mayor
kidding.
pro tem.
I know.
You need to know everything.
I don't know everything. And usually in city council, this is the truth. Every week we have a new subject. Not just one new subject, but sometimes 3, 4, 5, 10 new subjects a week. Do you know how hard it is to prepare for those subjects? Now, people say, what about in 2 weeks? This thing is going to happen. I said, I can only do this week. I can't do 2 weeks. I have another life besides that.
But don't you feel like that creates this potential for staff to lead council in whatever direction they want to lead council?
It does.
Because council doesn't have time to prepare, it doesn't have time to research the issues.
Oh, we prepare.
And however it's presented to council ends up being the direction.
That's a great question. We do prepare, but it took 5 years for me to learn. It took 5 years for me to learn government, because I have this book right here with me. I want to show it to the audience. This was given to me by my friend Allie Rhodes, who is the director of Parks and Rec.
Huh.
I was on the Parks and Rec board before I was on city council. And this says why business thinking is not the answer, good to great, and the social sectors. So I would say to Allie, I do not understand why we do some of the things we do on parks or on city council. It would be a stupid business decision, for instance, to spend money you don't have, or et cetera, et cetera. I can go into like if I thought about it, which I won't do, 50 dumb things 50 things I think are ridiculous. Why would you even do that? And she would say to me, Tara, businesses and government are two different things. And see, in government, you try to be great. Like if you'll hear people on city council, never me, say, we should lead with this new idea of making everything electric because we want to be the best city in the whole world or whatever, etc. I'm exaggerating. And if you said that, I apologize ahead of time.
if somebody on council said that, yeah.
If council's listening. But the point, and I'm not against electrification of buildings, but I don't think that we need to have the best city in the world. I think we need to be we need to be managed well, and we need to be better with the money we're given from the taxpayers. As a taxpayer, every time we raise taxes, I don't like it. I'm not saying that sometimes we have to raise taxes because we don't have enough money to do things. That's a whole nother story. But you're right. There's I would say a city is like a giant octopus. What's something like an octopus but has more arms than that? Like more legs, like a centipede. Like it's so complicated. It's such a complicated system. And city council is just one part of it. We're the legislators. We don't do the operations.
Who's at the head of the centipede?
It is the city manager. The thing about it is it used to be that the city's different departments did their thing way more than they do now. The city manager is trying to bring things under control, but you have decades and decades and decades. I mean, do you think that the $400 million deferred maintenance started 5 years ago? I don't.
I don't, but I still think somebody needs to be held accountable. Like we
Right.
need accountability.
That's right.
Before we write checks, we need to figure out how
100%.
did we get here and how do we
That's
never
right.
get here again before we indebt the taxpayer and the
100%.
it's not
I
just the
agree with you.
taxpayer. It's also the people that are renters. It's everyone in the city
It is.
pays this.
That's right. If people think property tax is just paid by the property tax owners, they are incorrect. And not only that, businesses, when you raise property taxes, businesses have to pay what, 3 or 4 times more? What is it, 3 or 4 times?
It's a big number.
It is a big number. I don't think that's fair. Here's the problem. We say, oh, we want local businesses. We want equity in business. We want to make sure more minorities have their own business. And then we create all these rules that are so complicated that you need to hire a consultant to even understand how to open up your own business and then how to get a permit. It's not right, in my opinion. So one of the things that I want to do, this is my dream, is when people do business or have a permit or get a permit or whatever, I want them to say, wow, I love doing business with the city of Boulder. That's my dream. And instead, they say that was the worst experience of my life. Now,
Getting through the city bureaucracy is challenging.
I said it to the director. We're allowed to talk to the directors. I said, listen, I want you here with me now. Can't we make this city a great place to do business with? But government doesn't always think like that. You know why? Because they're a monopoly.
I mean,
They don't have any.
100%.
There's no competition.
There's no competition for services.
So it's a little bit harder to get things where I personally want to go. Not only that, there's 8 other council members with different opinions. So on council, the first thing you have to do is find 4 other people that agree with you, or you can forget about it. Make your silly speech about whatever, your big new idea. But if you can't get the votes, you're just grandstanding. So I like to do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which is why you'll never hear me do what you want me to do.
What do you
yell at staff? No,
what do you?
I'm never
Oh, I
gonna
don't
do
want
that.
you to yell at staff.
Never.
I don't want you to yell at staff. I just want.
But I am going to say what you said. I am not, until we can prove to this city that we're responsible with the money that they've given us, I don't want to do anything. I want you to show the city, this is where we've cut. This is why we've gotten here. We have labor costs have skyrocketed. We have construction costs have skyrocketed. We've increased minimum wage, good for us. But here's a good example of how that not backfired, but really affected the Parks Department. They use a lot of teenagers to do lifeguards and this and that, whatever. Now, we made a decision as a council, it's called political pressure, to give that minimum wage increase also to teenagers. Because there could be teenagers, it's true, that are supporting their family. So, but it's so, now Parks has to pay what, you talked about lifeguards last time. Now Parks has to give lifeguards a whole lot more money, and all these things add up.
We have a soft spot for lifeguards.
I love lifeguards.
Hamish was a lifeguard.
No way.
That's why we have a soft spot for
You
our
would
lifeguards.
make so much more money now as a lifeguard because we had an increased minimum wage.
There's a shortage too.
Yes, there is a shortage.
I
So
mean,
we have
it's
to
not
give
the
them a lot of money.
lifeguards that are the $400 million unfunded
No, I know.
liabilities.
I know.
And it's also not even $400 million. And that's the
It's
part
not.
that really infuriated me as I watched that entire study session.
should be mad.
And eventually they conceded that really the emergency number is something like 20 million.
Exactly.
And we're going
There's
to try to
that.
raise 200 because that's our wish list for all these new buildings and all this stuff without any accountability.
disagree with you.
If money falls from the sky, let it be 200 million because that solves all our problems. And since we're not paying the taxes,
Mm-hmm.
we would like the rest of the community to fund that without any accountability. And that's the part that I just got foaming at the mouth
You're
about.
100% correct.
And so I appreciate that
I
acknowledgement.
listened to your podcast and I said, yes, I agree with you.
But I just also don't. I mean, I know we have to work with staff, and
Yes.
it's our city manager that
Yep.
hires and fires staff. But council also doesn't council hire the city manager? Doesn't council have leverage over the situation? Like, why have a political body if they have no power?
You're right. Here's the thing. We like our city manager. She's great to work with, and nobody's perfect.
Are you just saying that?
No. I don't just say it. I will never
don't know
tell
the city
you
manager.
I like somebody if I don't.
Okay.
I'll say they're a good person. I won't say I like the person if I don't like them.
Yeah, I just stopped talking.
Of course I like
If I don't
more
like them, I just don't say anything.
Well, you like me because we keep talking.
We're talking for sure.
Anyway, she's a good city manager. And she had to take a city and do things to, like she had to bring this out into the open, let's say.
That we have this unfunded.
And nothing ever happens fast in a city. You say, well, she's been there for 5 years. You know what 5 years in a city? Nothing. That's how long. Let me just give you a fun example, please. Why did I run for city council since I
know. I want to.
Why? Why?
Yeah. Why did you run for city council?
Well, it was halfway through the pandemic, and we had a lot of public safety issues, and I didn't like it because I would just want to ride my bike under an underpass without being scared. It was that simple. I love to ride my e-bike, not in the snow and ice, by the way, but only in the good weather. You hear that bicycle thing?
I mean, we plow the bike path, so
We
that's
do.
most of the time you can
I
ride.
also don't like to be cold.
Okay.
So I'm not going to have a cold breeze hitting me in the face on a bike. But I do like the other three seasons. And it was just scary under those underpasses.
It was.
Okay.
I mean, it has been since, probably 2010
but it's gotten
or so.
better. You're welcome. What do you think I do? As my fourth job is riding around the underpasses. And because we have Sam's team, we have a lot of things to help it. And it's a complicated problem. But still in all, bike paths and underpasses are for biking and walking. Underpasses it's too dangerous for a biker to hit an underpass and it's totally dark and then there's people inside that they could hit.
It's problematic. So let me make sure let's come back to the timeline for a second. So 2008-ish, you bought a house, and 2000, I don't know, you probably remodeled it.
Yeah.
And
I'll
then
tell you
at
what
some
happened. I'll tell you
point, 2020, COVID hits, and
Okay,
right after
here's
COVID,
what-
you
here's
decided.
what happened.
Okay.
The city has some really great things, and the staff is so great. There's so many great people. I have a lot of friends. But I have a lot of friends on staff. Anyway, so they sent out this thing, who wants to be on a, what do they call it? A working group to help solve problems in Chautauqua, parking-wise. Because people would come try to park up there and hike, and then their cars would circle and the neighbors would get upset. A lot of city council involves neighbors getting upset, just FYI. So the neighbors would get upset, so they made a working group, and I live near there, and they picked me to be on the working group. It was the most incredible experience. I met some great consultants, by the way. Also, the staff was so smart. I said, I want to be like them. They were so smart. A lot of them have multiple degrees. You know me. I already told you my life. And I loved the experience because we sat there and we tried to solve the problem. We did solve it. We did a few things that solved it. Don't you want to hear what they were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first
What did you
thing
solve?
was we got a what is that little truck, van? Help me. That goes the park to park van.
The shuttle
The
bus?
shuttle.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
the word.
Mhm.
The shuttle. And
That was the shuttle I understand. That's where the shuttle picks up at the high school and drops people off. at
marketing
Chautauqua.
wise, I wanted there to be like a.
And you put in like hourly limits to how you have
we
to.
did that, and
Yeah.
then we put in. Demanded them not do per hour because people hike for more than an hour, and we didn't want to stress people out, and it couldn't be too much that people who wanted to hike that didn't have a lot of money couldn't afford it. So we found the sweet spot along, where there's meters now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we had a lot of talks with the neighbors there about what is called, neighbors have neighborhood parking
Permits, sure. Mm-hmm.
right? And so the neighbors were very upset because all the cars park by there, and they can't find parking for their own cars.
I mean, all of them knew Chautauqua was there.
I know. I'm just
right?
saying.
Like you buy in the neighborhood.
I'm not saying I agree with them. I live near there.
So for those people that are that don't know what we're talking about, Chautauqua is an amazing amenity in the city of Boulder. It's the oldest operating Chautauqua in the country, I believe, west of continuous operation. It's a landmark. It's on the National Historic.
Oh, I'm on the board of that. I'm on a subcommittee on the board of Chautauqua, and we're the new winterized auditorium. Is
you weren't
incredible.
with the people that authorized the no permit, skip around, cost $800,000 fiasco.
That's a fiasco, but for reasons I can't say because I'm sworn to secrecy.
Well, anyway,
Chautauqua is a wonderful place, and from my house I can walk all the way up Columbine because I live down Columbine. And I go the back way, and they have pickleball courts, tennis courts.
Yeah.
They share. They have a beautiful park, which I was on Parks board when we redid that park. That is an amazing park. I even did the speech to welcome it into the park world of parks, whatever. And then what happened then? Oh, should I just go back?
So let's go back. You were on
we
Parks.
winterized everybody. Chautauqua has a winterized
So
auditorium.
Chautauqua is being winterized right
Yeah.
now because of Sundance.
That's right.
And a
That's
huge
a whole
amount of money
nother
is
talk.
going into it. It's an entirely new structure underneath.
Yep,
It's
yep.
amazing.
It's amazing. I just visited it 2 days ago.
But Chautauqua lost 2 months of revenue because they
we're not talking about that right now.
Okay. All right. I'll say you don't need to respond to it, but I'll just, for the people that are listening, the backstory is that
There's a backstory.
We got ahead of our permits, and
There's a backstory, buddy boy.
that can't be told. But there's a backstory that I don't know. But all I know is that publicly they've said they've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue.
That's right.
And the project was delayed because even Chautauqua got into trouble with permits in the city of Boulder.
That's right.
And we'll leave it at that. I
You
don't
can
really
say
know
that.
much
No,
else.
that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah,
okay, great.
that's fair.
So let's go back. You were on the parking working group. And
That's
then
what I mean.
that was like the initial.
Shouldn't we be helping people with their permits and not making them miserable?
I would think so, but
Okay,
anybody
well,
that's
that's another
applied for
subject.
permits in the city knows that's not how it works.
Okay, so 5 years in, I do want to change that. I'm not going to give up. You
Okay.
know, just to get back to the bike underpasses.
Yeah, the underpasses.
It took me 2 years, Hamish, this is true, 2 years to get lights working in all the underpass. And it only cost $20,000. Finally, at the end of my second year, I slipped it into the budget. I said, can we please just fix the lights in the underpasses? Some of them don't work.
Yeah.
How much will it cost? $20,000. I got my colleagues to say yes to that.
Yeah.
Can you
Well, good.
imagine?
I mean,
I'm just saying.
As a cyclist and somebody who has frequently used all of our bike paths over many years, the underpasses can be scary. And now that they're better lit, there is
You're
less people
welcome.
camping in
That's
the
right.
underpasses.
We
which
have
is
a few
helpful.
problem areas still, but that really is a complicated subject for another time.
Well, we might get there.
I don't know.
I'd like to talk about the homelessness issue.
Yeah, because then I could tell you about what happens to me on the hill. That's the best story ever. Seriously, of all my stories.
Well, let's. Why don't we?
Okay, so anyway,
what I'd
I
like to go
loved
is-
the experience
Okay, I gave
on
you a
that
taste.
working group, and the staff really liked working with me because I made fun of. There was this one guy. I'm not kidding you. He was a lawyer, and he lived like. So we had people coming from who were on the hill, but 8th Street, 10th, 7th, 6th, up by there, by Cascade and up that neighborhood. So the upper part of the hill, and then lower Chautauqua, I was the representative there. So one guy said, I don't want any more people coming to Chautauqua Park. I want to close 36. And he was a lawyer. Now, I said, excuse me, but that would really kill the revenue for this town. I mean, don't we want revenue to pay for all the things?
We need to pay for the things.
The things.
And there is this kind of meme of once you got here, you want to slam the door behind you, and maybe there's some truth to that.
There is truth. Believe me, there's truth.
All right. So how did you go from working groups
so I
to
love
deciding
that.
to run for council?
Okay, so I love that,
Okay.
and so somebody else dropped out of the tax capital working group. We have this that tax. What is it called now? Culture, safety. Oh, that tax.
CCFD.
See, lots of initials, lots of an acronym there. And I was on the working group for that. They called me in when somebody canceled because I said the city did because I did just a good job. because I would tell people the truth, but in a nice way. That was funny. And they like that. It's an East Coast thing. In Midwest, you're just like,
They're too nice.
They're nice, but also, I ran on a humor thing, and I can tell you people don't want humor sometimes. They just don't. It's very serious on city council. Super serious. Okay, moving on. So then what happened was, I loved that, and then somebody said, Bob Yates, actually, you know him?
Oh, I know Bob.
Okay, he said, why don't you try out for the Parks Department? Why don't you try out for see, my brain doesn't work. I told you I need the words. Why don't you try out to be on a board or a commission? And I do love parks. That's my thing. And so I tried out for the Parks Department, and I got on. And
what's the Parks Department?
Parks. I'm sorry. See, I'm already.
Yeah, what do they actually?
Let me take my other medicine to help me speak. That's
better. Fine.
Okay, we did an hour. We're going to be done in 2.
We could do 3.
We could
do 4.
2. All right. I have to babysit my youngest grandson has hand, foot, and mouth or something like that. I know.
Bring him over.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we don't even want to go into my life right now. My life is crazy. Okay, where are we?
All right, so we're trying to figure out
how I got
why
there.
did you? So you were on
got
other boards.
Onto Parks
and Rec.
I loved being on the Parks and Rec board. I said I was in the Parks Department, but that was a misnomer.
You were in the Parks and Rec board.
I got onto the Parks and Rec board.
Is that anything like the TV show? Did you ever watch the show?
Is.
It is like the TV show.
Yes.
Huh. I've never seen.
It's not like the TV show as much as City Council's and that's one of my favorite shows.
Parks and Rec.
I still watch. I go to bed every night because I need to laugh watching clips on Facebook and Instagram Reels of that show and a few others. That's one of my favorites. I love Aubrey. I wish I could be Aubrey.
Huh.
You know her? She's awesome. Oh, you like Ron? Where were we? Okay, so then somebody said, why don't you run for city council? I'm like, okay, that's it.
And that was it? Somebody just said, hey, run for city council? And you hadn't seen a single meeting or any public comment? And you're like, sure, that sounds great.
Yeah, I want to fix the underpasses. It's really true.
My God, naive, the fact that you didn't know any of what happens on city council and the endless public comment and the parade.
If I would have watched,
I
don't know. It's not the open comment. It is that if you have a short attention span, the 400-page packets are a lot. But thankfully, this is what I do now. First of all, we made them a little shorter. We asked them to make it shorter. I take I read the packet. I usually have no idea what they're talking. There's a lot of government speak in there. It's a whole different language, just like real estate and just like promos. Government has its own language.
Sure.
So I put it through Notebook LM or an AI. Put the whole pack, because it's public. You can.
Right, of course.
Okay, I'm not going to put any confidential memo from the lawyer.
Sure, of course.
And then I say, dumb it down for me. What is it? And then I get an idea of where they're trying to go, and then I read the whole packet again, regular. Huh. So now I've had the beginning understanding of it, and then I can dive
having the
deeper.
cliff notes before you read the book.
That's right.
Got it.
I did that too in high school, by the way, but I didn't read the book. That's the difference. And I didn't read this book either.
Have you read the Cliff Notes?
No, but I like the title of the book.
But you brought the book.
Yeah, because I want to show you the title of it.
The title's interesting.
That business is not the same as government.
I don't know if I agree with that at all, but neither of us have read that book, so we'll never know. We'll have to table it. Yeah,
I know. I'll read it for the next time if you ever have me.
So you don't have greater ambitions to run for state senate or
that's even
higher political office.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to be honest. Even though I take it back if it insults anybody. Okay. I like policy. It's interesting. But what I really like is representing people. So if you call me up and you say, you got to do something about this stinking something or other, I will try to help you. That's it. So if you say to me, somebody sends me a picture, let's get back to the underpasses, of this underpass, then that has too many people in it and they're scared. And my job is to make it actually safe for kids to ride under the underpass. That's where I'm going. Not just me, because I'm brave, because, I had that thing happen. I run into the battle sometimes, unfortunately. And so where was I? I already lost my train of thought. See, that's what happens.
If people come to you with a problem.
Oh, yeah. I really like so what I do is I give my phone number out, and I say, rather than you send me a long email, which I don't want to put through AI, I'd rather not. Just call me up and tell me what is the problem, and I'll try to help you. I learned the best watching and listening, right?
All right. So if I called you up and I said, Hey, Tara, the roads are a mess.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting plowed on time.
I will tell you, this
How are you
happened.
going to help me?
This happened. Do you want to hear the
Yeah.
roads? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's something called equity. This is very big in the city of Boulder. And so we also did not have enough money to do all the plowing we were doing. I personally think that's the most important thing, one of the most important things, because I don't want to kill myself.
I mean,
break my leg.
as coming from the Northeast, it's shocking how little we do
Okay.
with our
So
snow
what happened
removal.
was, I hope I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, and if I am, I apologize ahead of time. But there was this thing in our new way of plowing where if you were west of Broadway and you were on a secondary street, nope, no more.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't equitable or something like that.
It wasn't equitable to the
Yeah.
people that live on flat ground. But you live on steep. So for people that are listening, west of Broadway is much more.
Yeah, but
it's
there are
hilly,
bigger
it's steep.
houses.
Oh, of course, they're more expensive houses.
More expensive.
And if they get more services, it's not equitable to the people that live on the east side of
Right.
town.
So I had a fit. I said, in my way of having a fit is I like cool down. And then I say, listen, there are older people that are house poor, or even house rich. Who even cares? Old people, and I'm a senior now, but older people, seniors, can't leave their house in the winter because they're going to kill themselves. So I think that you should change this policy. So we had everybody write in which streets were the worst streets. And I said, instead of doing whatever it is that you're doing now, why don't you have a grade? And if it's like bigger than this grade, you get to get your street plowed. Because it's not fair.
Yeah.
It wasn't fair at
I
all.
mean, we have a client and good friend, and he has mobility challenges.
Mm-hmm.
He lives on 8th Street. And as you come down the hill on 8th Street, it's a sled run.
Mm-hmm. It is a sled.
And so many vehicles every winter when we have a normal winter
Uh-huh.
crashing into parked cars. And he says it wasn't until a city vehicle crashed that the city started to finally take care of that
think
street.
equity is a great thing. You just have to think it through sometimes and say, is this harming people?
Right,
In
to
that
give
case,
more
it was.
snow removal services to
So then what happened
the
was-
west side of town.
It is hard. Snow removal is really expensive. We also have a lot of rules, and one of them is no salt. Okay, so I complained. I said, why can't we just... All right, if you're not going to plow my street, I could call up the director of transportation, lucky me. I said, if you're not going to plow my street, can I put salt out so that I can shovel my own street? I literally go and shovel my own street, which I do. I go into the street now and I shovel it myself. But it gets icy, so I need to use salt to do it.
And you're not allowed to use salt.
Right.
So you're breaking the city rules.
I'm not
using
going to
salt.
say whether I did or didn't.
Are
break
you,
the city rules.
is it all salt, or are you allowed to use magnesium chloride? It's just rock salt.
You know, something about it gets in the air or something like that. But
Okay.
It's
I'm
like-
not trying to gotcha,
No,
or you're going
no,
to get a ticket for
no,
using salt.
This
I'm just
is true.
curious.
This is true. Something about the brown cloud, and it was one of the reasons. Remember the brown cloud?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We
well,
still have
all
it.
these. Okay, we still have it, but it was worse.
Yes, it's gotten better.
And the stuff that we put on our roads was one of the reasons for it. So it's a good thing.
Huh.
Yeah, and even sand. You can't put sand down. Hello. You have to put only special whatever the trucks have.
They sand in the canyons all the time.
I'm just telling you and I could be getting it wrong.
Okay. All right.
Because I
don't know. I'm not an expert.
All I
in-
know is-
all I know is if I call you and I say my street
I'll
is
come
not, you're gonna
shovel.
you're gonna try. Oh, you're gonna come shovel. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
All right, listeners, call you.
No,
do you
but what
have
I
her
do
number for
was I
free
would,
shoveling?
if you said to me it's a life safety issue, not I have a slight grade and I hurt my back or something like that, I would do something about it. Yes, and I would say, can you do something about this? And they would either say yes or no.
Yeah.
So I can't make everything better, but I can at least expedite things. And
Okay.
sometimes the answer isn't good. It's like, no, we can't.
Okay, and you don't have to reiterate. You really have no ambition to go beyond city politics.
None, not even one. First of all,
Do you feel like some of your other council people are there because they really want to be?
the people that are no, most of the people that are there, that's their ambition, and they love what they do.
Okay.
I love being on city council. Also, the camaraderie is great, and the people on the council, most of them are great.
Okay. I mean, the vibe I've gotten, and I'm speaking from my own
It's a good
interpretation, my own
It's a good vibe.
perception, that most people get involved in city council because they care about our community. And most of the people that can afford to be in city council tend to be retirees or close to it and independently wealthy. But then there are some people that seem to get involved in city politics who are not planning to stay at the city level.
There are.
And Casey Becker is a classic example. Speaker of the
She's a
House.
friend of mine. Don't say anything bad.
I'm just saying what she did. She was on city council, and then she moved
Yeah,
up
she did.
into higher levels of
That's right.
politics. And I think there are certain people that want to do that.
I think what happens is you get on city council, and if you're successful, people say to you, "What about a higher office?" You don't. So they put it in your mind. Like people have said to me, and I'm like, I'm not even slightly interested. Not even one slight, tiny little bit.
So is that like a sinister cabal of elites that try to encourage you to move up to a higher level of politics?
It's not sinister. What's a cabal mean exactly? Cabal. What does it
Did
mean
I say
exactly?
cabal? A cabal.
Is
a
it like
cabal.
it's like a conspiracy type thing?
No, I don't know if it's like, it's more like that there are people that are affluent and have been very successful, or maybe they were born into affluence, but they want to influence politics.
No, we don't have.
But they don't want to be politicians
No,
themselves,
that's not.
so they
It's not
kind
like
of
that.
groom politicians.
No, it's more like within the Democratic Party. If you're an elected official or in that world, you can be pretty relaxed with other people in that world. So you maybe would hang out with them. But often it's people who is your constituent that would say to you, "Wow, I think you're the greatest." A lot of people have said, "Why don't you be mayor?" I said, that sounds like the worst job I ever heard. That's so bad. That's the worst job.
And now you're going to be mayor.
I'm never going to be mayor.
Wait, isn't mayor pro tem?
No, mayor pro tem is like fake mayor. It's like.
Okay, hold on. What is mayor pro tem mean?
Aaron, he's a great mayor. And by great mayor, I mean, listen to me. You have to run this meeting. You need to know Robert's rules like you can't believe. You need to know how to run a meeting. It is, and we have 4 a month. It's not 1 a month.
I know,
it's like
every
literally
week,
a full-time
pretty much,
job for, I don't know, $12,000.
It's more than a full-time job.
It is.
It's a lot of work.
It takes
and
over your life.
And you're in the public eye.
Yeah. So if you don't like it, well, leave.
Okay, but wait, hold on. Help me understand, what is mayor pro? I thought mayor pro tem was like the next mayor.
No. Everybody gets a chance to be pro tem. And it goes on like how if you've been there the longest, you're there for a year, and if Aaron has to leave the room or he's in another country, you are the substitute mayor.
You're the acting.
But I like saying fake mayor because it sounds more fun.
Okay, sure. I mean, I would say.
So I'm the substitute.
I would say the
mayor.
regular mayor is also the fake mayor because they don't have any power.
They have no power. They have one vote.
They run the meeting, but they have one vote. They have no more than one vote.
We have what's called a weak mayor.
I mean, it's fun to say that you're mayor of Boulder, but I think it really is just an administrative function.
Well, why it stinks is because you have no power and everybody blames you for things.
And that's by city charter, right? Like our city is structured this way with a strong manager and a weak council.
There's a lot of good to be said for a weak mayor and a strong council, and there's a lot of good and bad.
Wait, a strong manager and a weak council, right?
Well, we're a weak council, but we're not that weak. We do make legislation.
But it's the city manager. Okay, it just seems like the city manager is the dog that wags. Is the tail that wags the dog.
We hire the city manager. So
but have you ever fired a city manager?
Not sure. I really don't know. I don't. But she's liked.
I know she's liked, and I don't dislike her.
You know what? It's hard. It's hard to be liked by a lot of people. It's in this world today. It's really not easy to be liked. She's liked by almost everybody on council. I'm not saying that we don't disagree with things that she does. If it was me, I would just run the city way differently. Honestly, way differently.
Well, we can't print money, and this is the issue.
You've already said that in your last podcast.
I keep coming back to this, because it infuriates me that the solution is to raise taxes when it's not to.
It's not my solution. Listen to this. We have this new thing called the transportation maintenance fee. Okay, we have a transportation budget. Now we want a new fee so we can make the roads better. Why can't we just use the budget that we have? You know who pays the most for the fee? It depends on your square footage, and businesses, of course, pay the most. But not only them, but nonprofits, including the hospital, the BCH, which is a nonprofit. And we are going to be giving them a fee. It's not a tax. That's what I'm told. It's not a tax.
Charging them a fee?
Yes, charging them a fee.
For transportation services in the city?
Not transportation services, no. Look, maintenance. Transportation maintenance fee. Now, you can study that and you can rant about it at your next podcast, but we can't stay there right now because we have to move on.
We're going to move on, but I've got some. So let's get into some city issues like the planning reserve, which is directly north of here.
You want to talk about the planning reserve?
I want to talk about the planning reserve.
Wait, did we finish my whole life history?
Do you want to go back to your life history? I
Hold on.
thought we got you into office.
I'm in office
and now
somehow. Then I ran for re-election.
and then you ran again. And this
Now
is
I'm running again this year.
this is your third
and final year. And
third
you know
and
what
final
that means?
That means you can say and do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real Tara. This is Real Tara.
Right.
Real Tara is going to have fun for 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be great.
Okay.
But I have to be elected into office first.
Now, there's a bunch of issues I do want to talk about, but let's get you into politics.
First, I have one question. Hamish, this is very important to me. Are you enjoying yourself? Because my goal is to make each person stay better.
This is surprisingly enjoyable. I'm kind of having a blast right now.
Great. That was my goal. I didn't read this. Here's the thing.
Here's a
I
book you
love
didn't
reading,
read.
but besides the packet, I only read fantasy novels. That is true.
What fantasy novels do you read?
I have a whole list in my Libby.
What are
app.
you reading right now?
Right now, I just finished The Will of the Many. Do you know that book?
No.
It's so good.
It's a fantasy novel called The Will of the Many?
Yeah, the fantasy world of novels is vast. So
What
if you don't-
genre?
The genre.
Yeah, what subgenre is Will of the Many? And who's the author?
James Islington, I think. But the trouble is I watch a lot of K-dramas, can't remember their names, and I also have trouble remembering the books that I read.
Okay.
But I will
All right.
stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning if I've had a rough counsel, just getting into the fantasy novel so I can forget everything. I just need to have a happy
Escape.
life.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
I do.
sure.
I do.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're now in your third term, so you must like council.
I'm on my second term, running for my third term.
You're running for.
Thank you, though.
Well, you
I
have a
really
very
am.
high. I mean, you're very popular.
You never know. You have to work hard.
True, but you're very.
I was popular. I got the most votes ever of a city council member ever the last time I ran, but I don't think that's going to happen again.
Why?
I don't know. People can hate you for all sorts of reasons. Somebody came up to me and they said, "You ruined my kids' lives."
Wow.
And she was yelling. And her kids are, by the way, like 18, so I'm not really sure how I did that. Just saying. Anyway,
So
You know.
all right.
so you
I
got
mean-
to have a thick skin, really thick.
I mean, especially when you're on the hill and.
Oh, let's talk.
Let's
That's the
talk
best
about-
story ever.
let's talk about
That's
the hill
more
story.
interesting than the planning reserve, I promise.
I mean, there are a bunch of things I want to talk about: the planning reserve and
Here's
development.
the thing. I promise you,
Okay.
Hamish, this is the
All right.
best story you've ever heard. Are we ready?
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, we go to grand openings sometimes. There was a grand opening for a dim sum restaurant on the hill. I don't like to miss a grand opening of a restaurant because they usually feed you. So it's extra fun. And especially I love Asian food. That's my genre for food-wise. So I go to this, and also, so a bunch of city council members there, mayors there, some of the people from the chamber there, Boulder Chamber, and this person with mental health issues. Okay, so now what happens is they're celebrating the dim sum with kids came up from Denver doing the lion dance in costumes. I don't know if you know anything about
A
Asian culture.
lion dance, like they're all in the dragon.
That's right.
Yeah,
And they're in
floating
their
dragons,
costumes,
yeah.
and it's amazing. I'm in my happy place
Yeah.
between the food and the costumes, etc. So this person with mental health issues comes from behind and starts screaming, cursing at the kids, calling them names, Chinese, cursing, whatever.
Right, we're talking about racist slurs.
Yeah, racist
right?
slurs. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I get enraged. Now, enraged Tara is not fun. She's
Were you like
definitely-
dropping f-bombs?
No,
and, you know-
no. He was. I would never do that. So
What is enraged Tara like?
I'll tell you. So what happened was nobody's doing anything. First of all, the people, he's screaming. The people that have the grand opening are trying to have a good event.
Right.
The Midwesterners don't know what to do.
Right.
So I follow the guy out. Oh, no, then some good Samaritans push him away. Nobody knows he has a knife. That's first of all. Push him away down the street, trying to calm him down. He comes again from behind, does the same exact thing. At this point, I'm so mad that I follow him out. Okay, I lost my Philly creds right there. My street creds, gone. My kids were like, "What is wrong with you?" I follow him out, and I want to.
You're going to pick a fight with this guy.
No, I
You're
wanna
following him out.
Yeah, I want to report a hate crime.
Okay.
But by the time I decided to do it, he already was walking out, so I needed his picture. I decided I needed his picture. Whether or not I needed his picture, I don't know. So I followed him out, and I just asked him to turn around so I could take his picture. No laughing, but that's what I did. It's true. He was all the way down the block. He comes running back to me, And he tries to grab my phone. Now, my phone is my wallet, so I'll die before I'll give you my phone, period. Just kill me first. I'm not going to try to get a new driver's license. Too much.
Right. Not with our DMV process.
no.
You do not want a new license.
Nope.
Yeah.
So then he hits me, pushes me, throws me on the
He
floor.
punched you in the face?
Yes. Threw me on the floor. Not hard, by the way. Threw me on the floor, though, and he was sitting on me now. Now he's sitting on me, and nobody can see because on this street on the hill, it's
Right.
like elevated. You know that street?
Yeah.
It's elevated. No one sees, but lucky for me, the Good Samaritan sees. But the people, there were 2 security guards. You might ask, why do we need 2 security guards? At Illegal Pizza across the street. They came running out. They cuffed him.
Oh,
They
I didn't know the security guards at Illegal
pulled
Pizza
him
have
off-
cuffs.
Yeah, the Good Samaritan pulls me off of him, and they cuff him. Yeah, they had cuffs.
Okay.
And so he's on the ground. I'm standing up. Then I call the police. Now, I watch a lot of crime shows, so I'm having a good time. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm in the middle of one. I'm like in a show that I watch.
Well, luckily you didn't get hurt. Did you get?
Okay, I did get hurt.
Okay.
But at the time, the adrenaline was high.
Sure.
So the ambulance came, the police came, it was a whole kerfuffle.
Yeah.
And
the media soon after.
The media, yeah. And then I was on TV, all this. But I felt fine, and then I didn't. So by day 3, my rib is really hurting me. But then I said to myself, it would not be bad if I had a broken rib, because then it would not be just a simple assault, right? It wouldn't be just like, don't do that again. No consequences for you.
Right.
So I went, they
So
give you
had
there's great health insurance. The city has great, and I never had great health insurance, so it was very exciting. So I was able to go to they give you a doctor, PT doctor, whatever, in the PT place. And so we took an x-ray, didn't show anything. Then he said, let's take a CT scan, because I really wanted this guy to get charges.
Sure.
I was not happy with the way he treated those kids. And I love kids, and I would fight for kids. So that's just what happened. I became Mama Bear there. And then we took a CT scan, and he said, you do have a broken rib, and you also have something on your lung. So he said, go to a lung doctor. So I went to the lung doctor, and it was cancer.
And your mom also had lung cancer, right?
Yeah, but this was a rare carcinoid.
Okay.
And it also was slow spreading. It wasn't the same.
But good thing that they caught it.
Good thing.
Yeah.
And then I had it was right in the middle, though. So last October 9th, I had half of my right lung taken out, my lower lobe.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I kind of love that guy.
Sort of, yeah.
I love that guy.
Without that guy punching you in the ribs, you wouldn't have gotten that CT scan that found the lung cancer. Mm-hmm. Huh.
I didn't realize
do you
that's
feel like
why.
that was divine, or like
Yes.
some sort of like it was meant to be? Or...
Also, there's a Yiddish word for that called beshert, which is a great word to know, and it means like kismet or meant to be.
But share it.
Beshert. You should use that. It's the best word. Like if you meet someone and you're like, wow, this was beshert. It's like when somebody sent me your podcast, and I'm like, is he talking about me behind my back?
Talking about you to your face.
Right. And then I write through the email, I'm like, call me right now, which was a joke, because I said, I'm just going to make believe I'm mad, which of course I wasn't, because it's freedom of speech. You know how many terrible things people say? Your little thing was like, oh, she just did a softball question. I'm like, yeah, all right, I did a softball. All right, sue me. Don't sue me, by the way. Where are we?
Don't sue me either. So you took a punch, and the result of that was the lung cancer diagnosis and getting it removed. So now you're clear. Are you in remission?
Yeah.
So you're
No, I didn't have to take any drugs.
That's great.
I did have to have, which was really weird. I couldn't breathe when I woke up. I was on the transplant floor at Anschutz, and that was really weird, because I was like the healthiest one there, right? Because it's a sad floor. It's a tough floor.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I couldn't breathe without oxygen, and that is a really weird experience. To wake up and not being able to breathe, yeah.
So what was it like in the aftermath with the media wanting to interview you and?
Well, okay. When I first started 5-6 years ago, I couldn't not talk in front of a crowd. I couldn't put 2 words together. I would have a panic attack. And I was going to quit the race. And so what happened was I had to speak at a forum. We have to speak at all these forums, and they ask you spontaneous questions. I can do this, but policy questions, I'm constantly like, well, you know that word? They just go in it, you know what I mean? It's hard. There's so much policy, and it's hard for me to not have notes in front of me. So I had all these notes in front of me at this forum, And I couldn't, because I'm a disorganized nature, I couldn't find any of the notes. So I couldn't answer any of the questions. And then they said, what is your highest value? And I just like stared at them and I couldn't answer I just couldn't.
Right.
So I met my
Froze.
husband. I froze.
Yeah.
And I was sweating, and so I wore the wrong shirt, everything. So then I met my husband. I said, I cannot do this. And he said, you can do it. I said, I don't think I can do it. It's not me. I don't like to stand in front of people and pontificate. I don't think I have all the smart answers. I just try to do my best and learn the subject and use practical sense. And some people say, well, why don't you should be stronger. The problem is the older you get, and Hamish, you're going to learn this, the more you realize, the less you know. So anybody that says, I have the answer, I'm like, yeah, sure you do. Take CU South. I know that's a hard question, but we had engineers. It was the fight of the engineers. Engineers saying, this is the best idea. Other engineers saying, this is the worst idea. So people in the same field are fighting over what's the best idea. So it is really hard to say what is the best thing. It's hard to figure out on city council, sometimes sitting there, even studying the packet, what is the best way forward. It's not easy. It's challenging.
Well, I will say that, and maybe this isn't clear because I've been critical of council, but I also recognize that council is in a very difficult position and that you get tons of criticism, very little remuneration, and it's a difficult job. And you're taking one for the team. I get that. And I definitely respect that because of the amount of personal attacks, the amount of vitriol, the endurance you have to get through public comment, not drinking, right? Like paying attention to people and keeping a straight face, even when you're hearing what they're saying and they don't know what they're talking about. But they're very impassioned.
What the worst is if somebody texts you something. I'm not saying that I read texts at council. I'm not saying that. But if you do read them and they're funny, you could just start laughing in the middle of an entire meeting. And somebody could be talking about the death of their loved one, and then you just start laughing. So it's problematic.
It can be problematic. Mm-hmm. To get text messages during a meeting that you then see.
I keep telling people, stop texting me. Anyway, you're right, but also it is really a privilege and an honor to do it. So you can't have thin skin. And if you do, then either don't run or be prepared for people to not hate you eventually. So you can be well-liked. But eventually, there's going to be people that don't like you for all sorts of reasons. And
for
all sorts of reasons.
All sorts of reasons.
Maybe I'm slurring my speech from that drug.
What are you drinking? That's just this fizzy water.
It's so good. It's called seltzer water flavored with lemon and ginger juice. Organic. Trader Joe's. A little plug for this is my favorite. I love seltzer. This is my favorite.
You brought your own. We had
and Spindrift. I love Spindrift.
Fizzy water. Oh, okay. I think we have Spindrift.
You do?
Yeah,
because
we have
I love Spindrift.
The Arnold Palmer Spindrift, half tea and half.
Oh, you do? I don't like that one, but I love Spindrift.
You'll have to have one before you go.
I love it. It's my favorite.
Spindrift
is
not a sponsor of the podcast.
I know. I love it though.
Okay.
I'm addicted. To
Not yet. Not yet.
All right. Are we done?
This podcast is sponsored by House Einstein. We serve buyers and sellers in Colorado, focusing on Boulder, Denver, and several mountain resort towns, including Breckenridge and Winter Park. Our mission is simple: help you make a smarter real estate decision. You can learn more at houseeinstein.com or our YouTube channel, where you'll find videos on neighborhoods, specific listings, and much, much more.
Where are we?
We're not done, because I really would like to talk to you about some of the city issues. So I think we've gotten...
The thing that you're going to watch me do is if I don't know something, I'm going to change the subject. I learned how to do it so well.
That's fine. You could change the subject, but I might circle back to it. And that's... There's a lot of things changing.
Yes.
In the comp plan.
Yes.
That's going to...
wait, did you want to talk about the planning reserve?
Which is part of that, because we're going to go from whatever number of designated... neighborhood zoning to like
neighborhood
3.
1 and neighborhood 2.
Neighborhood 1 and 2, and it's going to radically change our city. I don't think most people realize when you go from all of these neighborhood designations with their own rules to only 2 or 3 different neighborhoods, and the new ones have densification built in by right. And I think part of that is because we have to comply with state level law. Like we have to make some of these changes, but there's a lot of change coming, and I kind of want to know what you think is about to happen. Like, how is this going to? And what does Boulder look like in 20 years under all of the deregulation?
70. I'll be 87. So I don't know. Will I be alive? But all right. I'll try. Let's do 10 years.
How many more people are living here in 10 years because of all? You don't think it's going to be large growth?
Maybe not.
Hamish brought you a spindrift. If you, that's like
So
Arnold
nice.
Palmer
When I'm done with
spindrift.
this, I'll have that. We didn't. We're not anywhere near. We're one of the slower growing cities. Actually, I don't even think we're growing.
I mean,
Erie is one of the fastest growing cities.
but Erie has to grow.
Why? Because they built a lot of housing that people
so
can
my
afford.
understanding, the reason they have to grow is because of all the bonds that they took out for infrastructure, and they have to grow in order to continue to fund the payments to those bonds.
This is where I need you.
And it's on two different counties. It's Weld and Boulder County. Like Erie is endless land of growth. And in some cases, fracking has been an issue, but it's still growing on the margins with new development. It's also very different than our beautiful historic city of Boulder.
I like beautiful buildings.
But we're infill, right?
I actually hyperventilate when I'm in Erie. Is that bad to say?
I
take it back.
I help clients. We were just looking at Erie this past weekend. It's just a very different feel, right?
Well, I grew up in houses that they all look like.
Yeah.
And so, I probably react to that.
Okay, but what does Boulder look like if we're building apartment complexes in the planning reserve and we're allowing?
I don't want to build apartment
We're allowing
complexes.
duplexes by right. We're allowing ADUs by right.
That's a great question.
How many more people are we going to shove in? When is Boulder full?
Let me ask you something. Okay?
Okay.
What is your opinion about it?
Oh, tricky. I like you're trying to back on me.
No, but I'm really curious. I got a lot out of your podcast. I learned a lot. You know more about real estate than I do.
Well, okay. So I've joked about this with Leah, right? If I were to run for office,
But you should, because you're awesome.
I don't live in the city. I live in the county, so I don't have any interest in being back in the city.
Have you tried to buy a house here? It's so expensive.
My kid.
But no. And maybe at some point we'll move back to the city. But right now, I mean, if the county commissioner seats open up to 5 versus 3, maybe I'd consider it.
That would be great.
That would be a fun thing to do.
That's a hard job. That's full time.
It-
Whereas city council is part time
in theory, but
you
I still
can't
think
have
it's
a second
full-time.
job though, and then you wouldn't be doing this, and you love this, don't you?
I love what I do, but I also realize that I mean, my perception of local and county level politics is that even though it might look like full time, compared to my experience working full time in New York City at an investment bank,
That's right.
the number of hours I've put into this business as well. When I first got started in real estate, it was full time working for an investment firm, nights and weekends working on this business until we were sustainable and growing. So I 80-hour weeks is probably not
choke
what
the life out of you, though. I'm going to be honest.
but it's probably not what Claire Levy is putting in as 80-hour weeks. I think I doubt
I think it's Levy.
Is it Levy?
Yeah.
Potato, right? Like it's spelled the same way. All right, I'm sorry, Claire. I mispronounced your last name.
Go ahead, keep going.
People mispronounce my last name all the time.
Well,
And
I practiced it.
They think it's Perez, and that I might
Parvez.
be Hispanic, and that's totally fine. I take it. I almost never correct people when they massacre my last name. It doesn't bother me. But if Claire's offended, I'm sorry.
She
but
would never be offended.
But really, I want to understand. So, what's my answer to that question?
Yeah.
If I ran for politics, I would say Boulder is full. That we have reached capacity based on the size of our roads and the size of our
that's
water
fair, but
resources.
yeah.
It's not just the roads; it's water resources, and and this question of equity is important. But I remember growing up, I would say to my dad, "That's not fair," and he would look at
loved
me,
saying that.
and he would look at me, and he would say, "Whoever told you life is fair?" And I would just be stumped.
I got to say, I loved what your dad said at your last podcast.
What did my dad say in my last?
He said, something like, if you can't afford it, then don't buy it.
I can't afford it. Don't buy it. Like, you don't deserve everything in the world just because of who you are intrinsically.
Yeah.
And that took me a while for my head to get around, because
But that's not popular here.
growing up in public schools, we want to believe
That's right.
everything is fair and there's equality throughout
Yeah.
the world, and we want to strive for it. And I believe in equality of opportunity, but not necessarily equality of outcome. I think that we
100%.
need to create opportunities for everybody.
right.
But
I agree with you.
I had to live in Bay Ridge because I couldn't afford Manhattan.
Bay Ridge, New York?
Yeah, I
No
lived in
way.
Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, and I commuted to Midtown. It was a miserable commute.
Terrible.
And my boss was right. I should have just rented an apartment in Midtown and lived but I didn't want that. I wanted my own place, my own, like, enough space to spread out as a mid-20-year-old. And so I suffered in that commute. But I never said, hey, somebody
It wasn't
owes me.
that bad. What do you mean you suffered? Oh, because of the commute.
It was I mean, I figured out the express bus was way better than the trains because the trains, at the time there weren't podcasts, but I would commute with earplugs because the sound was so disruptive to even reading a book. But you were also sitting there wondering if you have to constantly have situational awareness of what's going
That's
on
right.
because it's the city.
I never even
But
looked
the
people in the
express
eye on
bus
that train.
it would cost like an extra $1 or $2. I can't remember what it cost at the time. I would stop and pick up a bagel and then walk. It was healthier. I'd have
miss
more
bagels.
walking, and it was one bus right to walking distance from where my office was. So that when I eventually figured out the express bus, it was better. But I said, hey, somebody owes me an apartment in Midtown. Why do only the millionaires get to live in Midtown? So my mindset has always been, yeah, sure,
Okay.
I would love to live on the
That's
Upper
fair.
West
That's
Side.
fair. Can I just
but
say something?
nobody owes me that.
Here's the thing. There's something called politics. That's number one. And number two, you have to get voted in. And there are factions. With your little speech, you're not going to get voted in. You have to. I could help you if you want to run. I could help you.
I would argue that there are more people that would agree with me that are in the factions.
Really?
I would agree. I believe there's a huge population of Boulder citizens that are fed up.
I hope you're right.
They're frustrated with how much we spend on homelessness. They're frustrated with the roads, and they're frustrated with a push for more development, and they're frustrated with seeing city council staff wanting to raise $200 million in
100%.
new debt obligations without any measure of control over our spending. I think there's enough, even though we are very liberal as a community, I think that we have so many entrepreneurs, we have so many business owners, we have so many people with financial sense, and they're frustrated watching us set our money on fire and not get reasonable results. And so even though what I just said may not be popular, and I'm sort of half joking, Boulder is full.
I agree with you.
But I don't think we grow until we can afford to grow. We have enough water resources. We have enough infrastructure that supports that growth and doesn't degrade the quality of life for the people that bought into this community when you did, right? Like if the quality of life is decreasing in Boulder because of our growth, we have a problem. I think we owe...
Do you think there's more traffic?
Oh my God, yes.
I don't.
Well, you're on your bike a lot.
No. I drive a lot. I drive back and forth to the JCC, back and forth at Baseline, back and forth.
I see the traffic backed up on...
Whoa.
I see the traffic backed up on Arapahoe at rush hour. I see it backed up on Broadway.
Yeah, I guess I'm used to Philly, though, yeah.
Right. It's nothing compared to New York. It's nothing compared to the Northeast.
Right.
But we also don't want to recreate the Northeast.
I don't.
Right? There's a reason we left
Listen,
the Northeast.
we're not building on open space. What are you talking about with that?
Oh, I disagree.
We are
There's
not.
a slide in the last staff presentation in the study session where they were talking about open space as a potential area for growth in the city.
Are you talking about Area 3?
No, I'm not talking about the planning reserve. I'm talking about selling segments of open space to fund
I do
growth.
not remember that.
I
People
saw
would
it
have gone
in
ballistic.
I saw it in the slide. I
Let me-
put it in my newsletter.
I
couldn't
know.
believe it.
I can't.
That
you
was
have to tell
that was
me
a
where.
screen capture from the presentation.
Let me tell you what happened to me. This was the craziest thing. The staff talked me into saying yes to something because
What did you say?
I was a softie.
What did you say
To
yes
be
to?
honest, it was even considering a ballot measure where we take some of the open space tax money that they have a dedicated tax
Sure.
in sales tax, and we use it for other things that are very important. Let's just say that.
Other than open space. Right. Rob the open space fund.
Now, here's the thing. The open space people, which is a faction, and I love them, because I'm like a no people. I'm like very just practical.
Is it when you say a faction, you mean a faction of staff or a faction like the community?
The community has groups. You got your open space people.
The prairie
you got
dog
your
people.
I don't know what happened to them. They don't
They've been
come to
quiet
us anymore.
recently.
Yeah. You have your slow growth people. You have your urbanist fast growth people. You have your safety people. And so,
So they talked to you. Okay, all right.
All right.
But
So
they
then
talked to you.
the open space people went ballistic. We got so many letters. I was humiliated that I said yes. And I said in a hotline that I was wrong to say yes. I apologize and I take it back.
And that takes courage to do that. Everyone makes mistakes.
I know. I didn't take courage for me to do it. I don't mind saying I made a mistake.
I mean,
Other
a lot of our politicians, particularly at
Yeah,
the
but
very
I don't.
top.
I don't want to be anything. I don't want to move
Sure,
up.
it's hard for some people to admit. I think it's
Yeah,
hard
it
for
is
some
hard
people to
for
admit
people.
to making
But
mistakes.
if you can't say you made a mistake, something's wrong with you. Everybody makes mistakes.
We're
I've learned my best lessons making expensive mistakes.
yeah. I mean, we're in violent agreement, as my old boss would say on this. Like we fully agree on that. Radical, violent. He would say violent agreement to really make it just
So-
to make sure that we understood we're heard.
And this probably I don't really want to get into, but I have to say that I appreciate the different groups or factions because they make me look at things in a different way that I normally wouldn't look. And so why I like community feedback or listening to your podcast is, well, you're right, I'm not going to vote for that. So one of the reasons why I like to answer the phone rather than just read an email of outrage, which is tiresome to read outrage
I bet,
emails.
I'm sure.
I would rather someone be outraged on the phone so then I can say, well, what about this?
It's kind of hard to call you.
Why?
And you
I give
can't-
my phone number
But you
out.
can't talk to every single constituent that wants
Very
to yell
few
at you on
people
the
call
phone.
me.
Really? And you're inviting more people to call you?
Well, here's the thing what I say. If you're going to send me an outraged email, first of all, one guy sent an email, he was cursing, and it was so mean, and I called him up. And I said, what in the heck? And he said, I'm from Philly, I can't help it. I said, okay, that's fair.
I mean, it is harder to be rude to people to their face.
Yeah.
And even on the phone, it's hard. Their decorum kicks in and they realize that they're being rude and obnoxious. As long as it's not a road rage incident, right? People, I think, face to face are more human. And these issues aren't easy to solve, but Boulder has a long history. In fact, I think we passed the first open space tax.
We're not going to touch
for
open
acquisition.
space. What I'm saying is the open space people, if they found out about this, would send 1,000 zillion letters.
And they should.
Nobody noticed it, so
there's-
I need to look at it
There's
and see what it is.
There's a huge constituent of Boulder residents who bought into this community in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
I came here because of the open
But
space.
decades before you and I arrived, they bought into Boulder and they bought into the open space and they bought into small livable neighborhoods. And what they didn't buy into was apartment buildings in their local, they didn't want apartment buildings in Newlands or Martin Acres
100%.
or Table Mesa.
So neighborhood 1 and neighborhood 2, I don't think I can say this. We're talking about that tonight. We're talking about the comp plan tonight. Oh, tomorrow night. I don't even know what day it is.
Today is Wednesday.
So it's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
And you're not totally wrong. But we had the state, the state stuck their nose in.
And mandated
the first thing they
growth.
did
Yeah.
was remove occupancy limits, which really was bad for the Hill. I love college students. I love college students. I love hanging out with young people. But I don't want 9 guys living right next door. I just can't. I like quiet. So investors are buying up some of those houses and they're adding bedrooms, and they're allowed to now. And we have no way of doing anything about it. That's a sad thing. I feel like writing Governor Poles and saying, thanks for that. Thanks for nothing, buddy.
I mean, for sure. So some of this is mandated from the state level.
And also Dr. Cog said we don't have enough housing, and the state insisted that we build transit-oriented
right. I mean,
housing.
that's what Transit Village was a response to.
Yeah, but Transit Village I changed its name to Lack of Transit Village,
Yeah.
remember?
It's called something else. The
It's
official
like
name is
no
something
transit
else.
village.
There's
Like when they shut down
we
the
might
transit.
get a stop, right? That the COCO is now
I don't
funded.
think it's going to stop there at the Transit Village.
Where do you think it's going to stop?
I don't even know if what the person told me was private or not, so now I can't tell you.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would love to know where it's going to stop because there's a radius from train stops. You do studies of the Northeast
Let me
where
just
train
say
stops
this.
were put. There's a radius where there's an improvement in value.
Let me say this.
Okay.
We're not buying a new train. COCO is going to be a train that's already a train. So it has to be where the line already is.
Right. Well, the line is where Transit Village is, right? That's where the old JCC, the
I don't
old
know
JC's
which
building.
train it is. Do you?
But there's only one track that comes
There is-
through Boulder in that direction. So it has to be right through 30th Street, right east of there.
But I don't know where it's stopping.
Okay, but the issue, and this predates...
Don't ask me. This is probably confidential. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not going to ask you, but I'm just going to speak for a second.
Okay, do it.
So this is a
I'm gonna
controversial.
rest.
This is a controversial issue, and when I first moved to Boulder, the second time I moved to Boulder in 2005, we had acquired the Pollard Motors site. And there's an area there where the train track is curved. And we spent a bunch of money on it that now looks like chump change. And it turned out that we couldn't actually have a stop there because of the curve in the track. Although it also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are stops on curved platforms. They just require more technology and expensive technology to basically bridge the gap when we're on a curve, right? We that exists, but anyway, that's my understanding is that's where somewhere along that area is where there has to be a stop.
I don't know where there's going to be a stop. I don't know where it's going to be.
Okay.
That's
All
my
right.
final answer.
All right. It's a mystery.
Thanks, though.
It's a mystery.
Thanks. Good talk.
Well, whether we like it or not, we're on this ride for densification. There's no way around it. The train has left.
Just to FYI, the council majority changed, in case you want to know. So,
I mean, the pendulum swung from
That's right.
from slow growth, maybe at one point no growth, to slow growth,
Right.
and now we're on the other end of the other end of the pendulum swing to pro growth. And I think most of the older residents of Boulder that have been here for decades are anti-growth. So I think and they're a large constituent. That's why I think the people that run on a platform of moderating growth are going to get a lot of support, because a lot of Boulder doesn't want growth.
right, but it's split.
The council is split.
No, the growth and the fast growth, and so probably it's split. And so it's hard to win on just a slow, no growth.
You think so?
I know so.
I mean, the majority of the council members are pro-growth. And the people that seem to get the most votes...
You can see now I'm getting uncomfortable with
Sure,
this conversation.
sure. Well, I mean, I don't understand.
I know a lot, but I have so many confidences, and people always say, Tara, keep it in the vault. You know what? I have loose lips, and the old saying, loose lips sink ships.
Sure.
So I have to really be careful to hold all my confidences. So we need to, you
Okay.
could talk about it and I'll listen, because I love listening to you talk and I learn a lot.
Can you not?
Yeah, it's very relaxing. I'm almost getting sleepy, but it could have been what I had to take to
Can
calm
you
down.
nod once if I'm right and nod twice if I'm wrong? Well, all right. I don't really know what's going on with council, other than it's really clear that growth is on the
Okay.
horizon in a way that the city has not seen since maybe Dakota Ridge was developed, because Dakota Ridge is, I think, the last major subdivision type neighborhood that was built.
Yeah.
And in terms of adding number of housing units,
Let's just go to the planning reserve.
okay, which is the Area 3 Planning Reserve.
Yeah. Here's
North-
why I
yeah.
was very much in favor of it. When we ran back, in 5 years ago, everybody was like, oh, it's too expensive to build middle-income housing. Not that we can build, but let's make believe we can in a world where we can make believe. We were able to do everybody loves a holiday neighborhood, right? They say, oh, it's the best neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. We want to do another holiday neighborhood. So the buzz was, back in 2021, that if we could build on the planning reserve, because the city owns some of that land, that it would be cheaper, and then we could build another holiday neighborhood. My only goal is one of my goals is for middle income housing, and why that is, even though it's been impossible, we've tried. It's basically, and nobody wants to buy like permanently affordable middle income housing, because, what do you make? Nothing. Why would they do that? They'll move to Lafayette or something. So it's been unpopular, the options for permanently affordable. Nobody's biting on that one. So where was I with my train of thought? So I would love to see another holiday neighborhood, because I grew up in a diversified neighborhood. Well, actually, it was all poor. But I brought my kids up in a diversified neighborhood, and it's a very healthy way to... You sound like you're very healthy mentally. And what do you
Maybe.
think?
I don't think so.
He's
I might
not-
sound like it.
I don't know. I only
You'll
listen
have
to one
ask my family
podcast.
members that may
So
not
I
think
mean,
I'm actually there.
it's a for a good cause. Like, it brings me back to this book of, like, what are you trying to do? The other thing is it's true. If we don't have people going to Pearl Street and buying stuff, then we can't. So you brought that point up earlier. It's true that you need people to buy stuff and go to restaurants to, have those restaurants and businesses stay healthy and to have revenue from sales tax.
I mean, we've got a lot of vacancy.
We do.
People say 30% of downtown businesses
Yeah.
are vacant. We've got a lot of second homes. You're in favor of the vacancy
I
tax
don't know
on
if I
second
am
homes.
or not. What
Oh,
do you think? I was going to ask
on the
you.
vacancy tax?
Yeah, do you love it?
For houses or commercial property?
I'm a no on commercial property, but that is because I'm worried it's going to trickle down to the small businesses.
I'm worried about the enforcement mechanism of
Yeah,
you're monitoring our
We're
water
great.
bills.
We are great at
Like, that's-
laws that we don't enforce. That's our thing.
Well, okay, but they're going to use the water use as a way of determining which properties are vacant and which ones are not.
Duh. Go put your water on.
Like, you could put a timer on your kitchen sink,
Listen.
which will run water every day and
Okay.
waste water to avoid the $2,000.
This is for your listeners. This is a special thing I want to tell you, listeners. The thing is, some people love the vacancy tax. I don't know how I feel about it. Do you?
I'm not in favor of the vacancy
Okay.
tax.
So Mark Wallach is not in favor of it. He says we're not going to make enough money
It's
that it'll
$2
make
million
a
bucks.
difference.
It doesn't make a difference.
And
Right.
you have to now hire somebody or something like that.
You need more staff to
More
monitor
staff.
and
That's all we
more
need is
bureaucracy.
more staff. We have enough staff.
We have
We
a
have
lot
enough.
all with their special little white cars with all their little special white labels on them.
Don't make fun of those people.
There's a lot of
They're
cars.
your people. They help.
They have a special vehicle just to go do what they do. Every department has like 12 of them. It's
There's
crazy.
a lot of vehicles.
We have a lot of money. We spend a lot of money in the city of Boulder on things that don't make a lot of sense to me. So I'm not in favor. So I'm in favor of things like every time there's a new rule, we sunset 2 rules. I'm in favor
100%.
of zero-based budgeting, where we go through our budget every year. It's not automatic that you
Mm-hmm.
get this budget again. You need to justify the budget. And I think we have a lot of wasted money in
We
the
do.
city.
We
So
do.
without
a doubt, we
if
do.
you want to raise taxes, then we need to cut taxes at the same time.
I said that. I said I don't want to do any more things unless you. I don't want a transportation maintenance fee unless you get rid of something else.
There are a lot of seniors who were teachers, blue collar workers who bought into Boulder in the 50s and 60s, and Boulder has become so expensive on the real estate side. I talk to these people. I've got clients like this, and they're really upset because they're being forced out of Boulder, not because they changed, but because real estate values grew so much, and their income doesn't give them the ability to afford the property taxes.
Yes,
and
but-
even with the senior tax exemption, they don't have enough money to pay
Okay, let's talk about economics.
Okay.
People must be getting bored. Are you getting bored? I feel like you must be.
You could say if you're
Is
bored.
anybody getting bored out there? Listen, this is a long talk, but supply and demand. That's like Econ
course.
101.
Yeah, right.
That's what I was still paying attention. Good for me. That's a joke. Anyway, so real estate prices were skyrocketing way before we added growth. Weren't they? Rising?
I mean, in theory, supply should bring prices down. I
Right.
hear you on
Okay.
that.
So in theory, it did because rents are now lower. Now, the problem with supply and demand in the real estate market, or supply and demand, it's one of those subjects where my professor said, yeah, but it doesn't really work in the real world, right? Okay.
I mean,
But-
look at New York City.
Right.
All the attempts to bring down prices have not resulted in lower prices.
So if people
The
are
only thing that brought prices down was high crime and making
We're going there.
making
We're doing
New York
good with
City
it.
less desirable as a place to live. That's what brought prices down. It was not building more housing.
Okay. But if you are on council and everybody's screaming at you that they want middle income housing or that they want housing prices to be lower, and the problem is it has a lot to do with market things, market stuff. What's the word I would use? Market
Dynamics.
Dynamics.
right?
Thank you. I love that. I'm going to put it into my resume of words. It's very hard to solve that problem. Supply and demand, making more supply is one way. I hate apartments. Why would I move here to be in an apartment? I hate apartments. But I'm not in charge of everything. I'm just one vote.
Sure. I mean, given the choice, most people would rather live in a single-family house than
They would.
an apartment. And they choose apartments because that's a more affordable choice, typically, although HOA dues have now skyrocketed
They
to
have.
the point where it's no longer quite so affordable. And prices have come down on apartments pretty significantly, less so for single-family houses,
That's
but
right.
they too have come down.
They have. I listened to your podcast carefully.
I mean, we're looking at this with an offer we wrote this week on a house in Martin Acres, and the person wants the price that they paid 4 years ago, and
My kids
they
bought in at
overpaid
that
4
time.
years
My
ago.
kids overpaid.
Yeah, and if you wait long enough, you'll be fine. But
Mm-hmm.
they overpaid in 2022, and they're not getting their money back out. And unfortunately, the listing agent has the unfortunate job of also having represented them when they paid $60,000 over list, and now they're dealing with a market that's come down. So prices move up and down, but once you build it, you can't unbuild it. Right. Once we build all these apartment buildings throughout Boulder, we can't undo this. And so I look at that 400 square foot micro apartment project downtown. Right. And I think you may have voted yes for this.
Which one?
It got
There's
called
so
up.
many.
It was a bunch of it. I think this might be Olive or something along those lines.
Olive.
Right. These are micro apartments that are each like less
Students
than,
live there.
and it might be some students that are living there, but it's like these are not really by New York City standards, these are really small abodes.
Let's talk about one other thing besides that.
But is that what we're building in the future? Is that what the future is going to look like?
Well, I need to get back to you.
Okay.
I don't want it to. But if you think that's bad, wait till you see something that's coming up at 55th.
And Arepo, massive project.
Because now we have this new thing called, what is it when you don't even have to go through site review? It's, I should have studied.
It's by right if they don't have to go through site review.
They have a name for it.
Okay.
Where they have
Like
this new
accelerated
thing.
Process.
I forget the name. I'll have to get back to you.
It's not called up in front of council. It's
Right,
automatically
it's not
approved.
called up. That's right. But it has an actual name. So if you build it a certain way, form-based code.
Right.
That's
okay.
it.
Form-based
So
code.
everybody thinks form-based code is the new great thing. I'm telling you.
Explain form-based code to the
Form-based
audience. What is that?
Who even knows? I say check with AI, but this is my opinion about it. Is as long as they put a lot of you must haves architecturally. You must do this. You must have 6 inches. So they try to do it in such a way that whatever they get is going to be okay. And now the developer saves money because they don't have to go through the rigmarole, and it is a rigmarole. Then you stand in front of planning board. You hope that everybody likes you that day. I mean, whatever the case is, and that was an exaggeration, planning board, I don't want you mad at me. So it was a way to make things easier to get more housing because Colorado had a supply problem. Let's not even talk about.
It's a way to streamline the permit process.
Thank you. Look,
but does it actually work that way? Does it actually streamline?
Okay, so what happened was, this is my opinion. In Denver, I hear through the grapevine that people are not liking the product because
the end result is not attractive to the market.
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
And people like pretty things.
They do.
Especially who live here.
When I lived on Nantucket, where I got started in real estate, the whole island is a historic district. And the way that projects get approved is that every project goes in front of a group of people. I can't remember the committee or working group, but every single project. And they make arbitrary decisions based on aesthetics.
They do.
They're not pretending that it's we have in Boulder, we have a giant rule book with a lot of complexity.
That's right.
And that's why people from out of town, with their out of town architects, often find out the hard way that they should have gone with somebody who's done this before in Boulder because it's complex.
And hired a consultant.
And maybe hired a consultant on top of that. But on Nantucket, they would basically design elements into their building plans that they knew they would be taking away. Like they would be prepared to take away a few dormers, for example, in the design of the house. And it wasn't based on any sort of rule book. It was based on whether it was appropriate for this location or not, because the whole island was a historic district. Unfortunately, Boulder is not a historic district, but I've always felt like, let's stop pretending that this rule book should guide design. Let's let humans make final calls on design. And
100%.
propose what you think is best for this location with your private property, and we'll decide arbitrarily whether we like that or not for this location. And unfortunately, that would get you sued, I think, in Boulder pretty quickly. But that seemed to work really well in keeping the island cohesive. And we don't have that in Boulder. We're all over the place with the way communities
we've
look.
Sucked creativity out of Boulder is the way I put it.
I mean, metal trees and square boxes is what we have at Boulder Junction. That's what it's called today. Boulder Junction, not Transit Village. It's really, aesthetically not particularly attractive.
I know. Well, can I run on, I wish we had a prettier, when I ran the first time, I said, I just really like good architecture. But it is true that it's in the eye of the beholder. It's true. So I guess in my dream world, we remove some of those rules to give creativity a chance. So that's what I'm going to try to do.
I'm in agreement. I wish there was a way to do it. I don't know how we get there.
There is.
Other
but
than
it's going to everything
insisting
has.
we take away a rule for every time we add a rule, or
I
we
like
take
that.
away two
I've
rules
suggested that,
for every time we
but
add a rule.
Usually when I suggest things like that, I'm ignored. I want to tell you.
See, but you shouldn't be ignored. You're Mayor Pro Tem. How are they ignoring you? This is the part I don't understand.
They're probably like, oh, here she goes.
Yeah, I don't understand why that can't be a proposed piece of legislation coming from staff that says this is what we want. Every time you have a new rule, we're not going to pass it unless we see 2 rules removed.
I've said that. Well, I said 1 rule removed, and I've said it multiple times, and I've been ignored every single time. Nobody got up and said, "Great idea, Tara." Nobody.
Well, I would have been cheering in the audience at home watching on YouTube if I had seen that.
Well, what can I tell you? Anything else left? What time is it? I have a sick baby.
What does time mean anyway? What time do we need to end?
Well, when do we start? 11:30?
Almost 2 hours ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
it's
let's...
not uncommon our podcasts go 2 hours.
Really?
And yeah, they go 2 hours all the time. And this guest podcast, we're truly just trying to understand where you're coming from and what you're about.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
This week, I call every week another kerfuffle, to be honest. This week, just in the study session, you're going to love this one. We're going to talk about which ballot measures to put on. It's going to be your dream study session.
This study
You cannot miss it. Put it through AI like you do.
All right.
The good thing about listening to it, though, versus putting it through AI, is you get to hear different people say things. And there's going to be some whopper speeches.
Really?
Well,
what are the ballot measures that are going to be potentially talked
the
about?
Vacancy tax. So the question
the
isn't how
vacancy
do we
tax.
feel about it. The question is, should we put it on the ballot? So what we do before we put something on the ballot is we poll it. And if it polls below like 60-something%, it's probably not going to win. So we're not going to put it on the ballot, usually. However, all of our ballot measures polled poorly. You'd be so happy to hear that. It's like your dream came true.
No more new legislation. Well, look, let me come back to the vacancy tax because
I'm not done.
Okay. All right, go on.
So why you should listen to it is we're going to decide, and you're going to care, what we put on the ballot. And then, which I'm not sure, I know this is a plug for you, after listening to both of your podcasts, I'm pretty much going to say no to everything, I think. Because I want the city, which I've said before, I've said to the city manager, until you can prove to this city that we can manage money, I've said it, although maybe it was behind the scenes because I don't want to be mean. And until the city believes us and we have the trust of people again, why would they say, take more of my money?
I mean, I'm in a radical agreement. We need a plan to properly maintain our buildings with the money we have, and we need to stop building new buildings with money we don't have.
Well, we really desperately need a new police building, a new public safety building. It's falling apart, literally.
Okay. I mean, maybe there's some grants that we can pursue to do that.
Thanks for that. Thanks for micromanaging.
I mean, 100%, like we need the money to build a new public safety building. I'm not arguing that we don't need new buildings, but we also, before we build new buildings, we need a plan to maintain them. Like,
they do have a new plan. I just want to say, I found out before I got here, I said I better hurry up and study. They're putting aside, when they build a new building now, money for maintenance.
Well, I heard them say that it was a small number of buildings, of the new buildings that they've built, like a small fraction of our 75 buildings, and then a bigger fraction of the new buildings have an actual maintenance budget and plan. Otherwise, it's very individual and haphazard and not well organized. Mm-hmm. And that to me sounds like BS. And we need this is the basic function of government, is to maintain our infrastructure. And this is the infrastructure that, look, they're buildings that are hundreds of years old in other parts of the world that are still functioning just fine, have been taken care of, still have an administrative function. Right, we didn't throw them away. So what happened?
Okay, let me talk about another faction. You want to hear one more faction just because we don't have enough? Let's talk about the environmental faction.
Oh, yeah, the concrete, the embodied carbon of concrete. Can we go there? For sure.
Yeah.
How is that not important?
I want to win the next election, so I'm not going to say anything. But how about this? This is what I did say. How about we get rid of all of the rules from that building code that are not giving us enough bang for our buck? Let's look at where we're making businesses and homeowners suffer, and then we get very little in terms of reducing our greenhouse gases, and let's get rid of those things. Why can't we get rid of things that don't work in city government?
I don't know.
Can you tell me that?
Look, you're the one that works in city government.
I'm having a hard time figuring it out. I'm like, we try it. It didn't work. That's what you do in business. You want to try something new. If it doesn't work, then don't do it.
Well, that's why I disagree with that book. That book is government should run like a business.
Well, they can't totally. They can't be profit oriented. They have to be people oriented.
But we could still adopt
I think we could do a mixture. We could do best practices. I guarantee you we don't now in city government.
All right, can we go back to vacancy taxes? Because I just want to like get it clear, because
if you don't like it, I don't like it.
There's two pieces. There's I appreciate that, but there's the residents side, which is basically a proposal to tax vacant homes $2,000 a year, which will go up over time. And then there's also a strong push among a very vocal progressive group, and I would say vocal progressive minority, that want to tax vacant businesses that are commercial
We're not
properties
doing that.
downtown. That most people are not in favor, and I think you're not in favor of that.
No, the council's not in favor.
That makes
We said no. We cut that.
they cut that. Okay,
It's
All
only
right.
like
Okay.
residents.
Okay.
And I read an article recently, lucky for me. Oh, can I just say something to the audience?
Sure.
Whatever you heard today, I was joking. That's what I'm going to tell you. 100%.
Don't
Don't
take
call
anything
me up and say, how could you say that? Because I was just being relaxed and having fun with
There was no
Osman
liquor in
and
this
Hamish.
meeting.
There is no liquor. Nothing's happening here. But I decided to have fun. I need a little fun in my life. Okay? All right. Thanks. Good.
I'm really glad you came on. This has been a fun podcast,
fun,
and
right?
we've learned a lot.
I'm
You
the
are
fun
fun
council member.
Although it's a little hard to pin you down on some of your
You know it.
positions because you push it back on me.
But why I push it back on you isn't because I don't have positions. Sometimes I'm unclear, and often I see both sides and the pros and cons, and it takes me a long time before I decide. And sometimes I decide, and I know there's going to be unintended consequences either way. So it isn't that easy. It's not like I don't want to take a position, but like the vacancy tax, I don't know. I mean, the voters are going to decide.
So I think that, and I've said this to Hamish before, that rules are kind of dumb if they are not based in principles. And we've
100%.
got to start with the principle, and then have rules that may need some flexibility, and we can adapt the rules as
Mm-hmm.
needed. But you have to come back to what is the principle, and it's not very easy. In all situations to do that because of the various factions involved.
That's right.
But you get clarity when you realize, like, the principle of local government is to maintain a healthy and vibrant community. We need safety.
That's
we need
what-
good roads. We
Thank
need
you.
parks.
Just do my
that
speech for me.
Kids can walk in the park and not worry about getting stabbed in the foot with a needle.
That's right.
We need creeks that run through town that don't have high bacterial counts because people are using the creek like a bathroom and camping there, right? Like we have problems in our community, but we're funding them in some ways, particularly around people experiencing homelessness.
Oh, we're going to
And
homelessness
right,
now?
well, this is another one of the
What the-
issues that are very
what
much a
is
hotbed.
happening here?
But the principle I think that government needs to first and foremost continue to focus on is our mission is not to solve, and we're not going to international politics, but to focus attention on international issues. It's to focus on our local community and make sure the infrastructure serves our residents, whether they're property owners or not.
Okay.
And I feel like we've gotten really far afield from it. And there's a town called Longmont that seems to have is doing really well with all of these things. It doesn't have all these issues. So how is Longmont doing so much better, in my opinion, in municipal? Just drive around Longmont, and
I
the
do
streets
not
are so
like
much better.
Longmont.
Well, I think you got to drive over there. It's
I
it's
did.
the same size as Boulder, and yet
It's like, I don't like it. It's too much.
it has
It's just
some of
like
our
too-
it has some of our issues.
No, I love the people of, let me repeat, I love the people of Longmont, but the visual, like driving down with all the stores and it's
the
not
main
for
street.
me. It's
It
not
doesn't
for
have
me.
it doesn't have the Flatirons. It doesn't have our
Right.
walking mall. It doesn't have our university.
Yeah, so stop saying it's so great, okay? We have a lot of good things.
We have a lot of them. I love Boulder. I love the community we live in. But when it comes to how our government is running our city, I'm frustrated. And I look at Longmont as an example of having their priorities right, as my dad would say.
Why? Do you
Having-
know the people, you know the government of Longmont well?
Not incredibly well, but I have clients that live there. I help clients buy and sell houses there. I own real estate there. I lived there for about a year.
Did you like it?
It was, the commute sucked. We were in Boulder every day, sometimes twice a day, because my business is in
And then
Boulder.
down, and 119 is,
and the diagonal is a nightmare. And it's always been a nightmare.
Soon you'll be able to bike there.
You could before on Lobo was a pleasant dirt path, and soon it's going to be paved the whole way, which is going to be amazing. I'm looking
can't
forward to
wait.
that.
I can't wait.
But I'm a little worried about the cyclists getting mowed down by vehicles spinning out of control, and because there's no guardrails, it's not grade separated. The pathway running through the middle of the diagonal is not protected from vehicles that. If you've lived in Longmont and you've driven the diagonal for 12 months, you will see accidents where the vehicles have spun off the road into the median, and that is right where you're going to have pedestrians.
Let's move on. I'm already getting bored. When I get bored, what happens is I don't even focus.
Well,
I
all
lose
right.
my focus.
I'm not running for office, and we can't control the diagonal anyway.
Yeah, why
But
are we
it's-
talking about Longmont? Let's
Because
go back
it's
to.
another
I'd
city
rather talk
government.
about homelessness.
Okay, so homelessness.
Okay, here's the thing. People come here who are unhoused, and they have nowhere to go. They have mental illness, they have drug addiction, or both. Our country does nothing for these people, really. The only place really that you can get help for some of this is in jail. However, the jails are full. Our jail is full. You have to literally forget my little thing of my hate crime. You have to do bad things to get in jail right now because it's full because the plumbing broke. So there's all sorts of things happening in that world. And also, we don't have enough help for these people. And we have laws from the state that are the laws from the state.
What laws from the state?
Well, for instance, let's say somebody's mentally ill. If they don't want to be committed or put into a mental health facility, they don't have to be.
Right. We can't intern them into
even M1 holds. When you let's say somebody burnt, which
a mental
happens.
health hold.
Yeah? Let's say this happens a lot. People, we have things called vouchers where they try to house people, and it's really a good thing, except when it backfires. Unintended consequence. So we have these vouchers that, let's say, the government gives to people, or sometimes Mental Health Partners, who is now Clinica, I think, gives these vouchers, and it allows people to live for free and get housing in affordable housing programs. So then they move in. I'm now going off subject. They need a lot of help. They're not going to just live happily ever after. They have problems. And unless they have help, like actual people helping them, they will fail and go back on the streets.
Right.
That's really expensive. So we have tried as a city to do different things to try to help them. The cost is astronomical. If you're asking me what is some of the cost, but the problem is people say to me, you need to do something about the unhoused people. Well, like what? I don't want an open air, outdoor encampment area, which that was really popular for a while. I said, that's going to fail.
We had it right next to our city buildings.
We still do.
Yeah.
But it's gotten better. Thank you very much.
How do you solve this issue that's really a state and federal issue at the local level?
We can't.
And when we spend money locally, we're creating a magnet for people to come here and get services. And we also, because we're such a generous community and are so easily guilted and shamed, we give lots of money to people that fly cardboard I
don't give any money.
I don't either, because I know where it goes to alcohol and drugs, and I get that. And we are a very compassionate community. So it's sort of like our sympathies and our compassion for homelessness is costing us, because it's just bringing more people experiencing homelessness into our community rather than solving any problems. It's actually making the quality of life worse.
I guess so. The question is, because we have no help from the government, other governments, and the county is supposed to be in charge of this, BTW. That's by the way. The county is supposed to be in charge of this. Don't even get me started with that. That health, okay. When I first got onto city council, I couldn't believe what was going on. I agree with you. I'm like, what is happening here? What? Help these people. Where's the money going to come from to help these people? Oh, it comes from the county. It's their purview. So I called up a county commissioner. I just called them up and I said, so what's happening with the mental health problem here? They said, well, we're not in charge of that. I said, I heard you are in charge of that, county commissioner. This happened. Because I'll call anybody. I don't care. I'll call anybody.
I know, you called me. You called me after I put your name in my newsletter. I got a phone call.
So then the county commissioner said, yeah, but we're not in charge of it. They said, mental health partners in charge of it. So they farmed it out, as I would call it in the business world. So I said, but ultimately you are in charge of it. So just saying. So after that, I said, this is going to be hard, man. I'm going to get nowhere in 5 years. Guess what? I get nowhere in 5 years. I tried really hard. Like, I went to different mental health facilities. I went to Larimer County. They opened up this great facility, which was really expensive. I worked with Judy Amabile. I'm not giving up. But now, in those days, we had ARPA money. Now we have zero money. Now we have minus money. Now they're just like billions of dollars, whatever, at the state.
Yeah, the federal government's punished Colorado.
Yeah, right. So even in the ARPA days, I was like, we better hurry up and do this, even though we wouldn't have had operating, we wouldn't have been able to pay for it. Hurry up and do this with all this ARPA money. but we didn't.
What does ARPA stand for?
What was that? American, look it up. American, that was during the pandemic when they gave out a lot of money to cities to help with
Got
all
it.
the,
Yeah.
and a lot of what you're saying is from the pandemic. So we had a societal upheaval, and a lot of cities were really affected by it, and that it's not easy to come back from it, the pandemic. That's when we started having a lot of big problems in safety and other, et cetera. It's not that easy to fix.
American Rescue Plan.
Thank you.
Yeah. American Rescue
See,
Plan.
I know some things after 5 years.
Well, I don't know. What do you think? Should we keep going? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. It's been 2 hours. I can't. I'm even getting bored of myself.
All right.
Let's call it a
might
day.
be a good point to wrap up on the podcast.
Yeah, let's wrap up. Well, we can't wrap up with something depressing. So I'm telling you what we should wrap up with. Listen, my goal is for this to be a fun city. I want everybody to have their best life. Everyone.
Have you ever ridden the Thursday Cruiser ride?
No.
If you want into fun, maybe you should ride the Thursday Cruiser ride and have some fun with our community.
Well, my husband, he's also disabled, right? So I have a lot going on.
But you have a bike.
I do 1 hour of fun a day on my bike.
Can you join?
I'm not going to that cruiser ride.
It's fun.
No way.
It's fun. You
I
could go in
already know.
costume.
You don't wear clothes.
No, people wear clothes.
They do?
There's a whole theme. Every week there's a different theme. I don't know the
also
theme.
hate getting dressed up, even for Halloween.
But you can wear a costume. People won't
I'm
even know
never going.
you're a council person.
It's like
just to
swimming.
see.
I hate
It's a lot of
swimming. I
fun.
hate cold water. I'm never going in the pool.
And you'll go through all the underpasses so you can check on them.
I already do that, by the way. And when we get off, I'll tell you what you can do, but I'm not saying it out loud.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on
so
the
fun.
pod. It was fun.
Let me ask you something. If I bring up like readership, what do you call it? Not viewership, listenership, by just this really fun podcast, what happens then? Do I get a prize?
What do you want? Some like cash in a brown paper bag?
No, I
slipped
want
under
to come
your
back
door?
in 6 months
Oh
and do another
yeah,
one.
for sure. We'd love to have you back.
I feel like it was a lot of fun.
I mean, I think you're definitely going to get elected, and I think you've got your head on your shoulders on what you want to see happen with our community. And I do think you care. And it's really nice to see that your ambitions are not just to use council as a platform for the next thing, because that's one of the concerns I have with some of the people that run for council. And it's clear you care about our community and you're doing your best. And people do make mistakes. So I really appreciate your willingness to own that. Very few politicians, I think, especially today, own their mistakes, and everyone makes mistakes. Like, that's life. It's what you do when you make that mistake that really matters. And I think I really appreciate you responding to my newsletter and agreeing to come on the podcast. And I don't know, there's a certain risk to that and vulnerability to that. And I think I really appreciate you sharing who you really are. And that was really powerful. It was a great message.
Good.
So thanks. All right. So I think we need to do a quick wrap for the pod. Dear listeners and viewers, you've joined us for another House Einstein podcast. We so deeply appreciate your time and your energy and your willingness to endure and also participate. Your comments and your questions are always so helpful in directing what we do here. And if you'd like to learn more about the House Einstein brokerage, you can visit us at houseeinstein.com. And till then, we'll catch you next time.